Hey, everyone! If you enjoy my quantum audiobooks, you can support me by becoming a Patreon member. Your support helps me keep creating, and you'll get exclusive perks. You can also access my audiobooks directly through Google Drive. Check out the link in the description. Now, let's get started.
Although there is an old saying that you should not chase after the poor, but Oki believes that in many cases, it is better to pursue the victory and get better results. And Oki's Pokémon obviously knows this truth. After Dragonair hit Orberg's tail, he ran over to make up a few taps. Water will weaken the force of the blow, but after a few knocks, Dugong's contest condition is obviously a little bit unsustainable. Dugong dodge it, use takedown, Price ordered at this time. Dragonair used the strap to throw it out of the water, then another Dragon Rage. Dragonair moved a little faster before Dugong had time to dodge and the takedown trick couldn't be used. Dragonair directly tied it up. And after it was tied up, it swam up to the water surface, and after reaching the water surface, it was thrown up with all its strength. Wait, I surrendered for Dugong. When Dragonair was about to use Thunderbolt to deal with Dugong, Price further surrendered. Oki hurriedly stopped Dragonair and let Price take Dugong back. Because the two trainers both understood Dugong's situation, Price didn't explain this and sent the next Pokémon directly. Okay, then this is my second Pokémon, come out Lapras. As a trainer of Ice-type Pokémon, Price obviously wouldn't be without an excellent Ice-type Pokémon like Lapras. Well, come back Dragonair and leave the rest to your companions. Come out Arbok. Oki's second Pokémon is Arbok. As the first Pokémon that Oki subdued by himself, although its strength is also at the top of Oki's Pokémon team, but because of the increase in the types of Pokémon, as a poison Pokémon, it is not as good as it is. There is no chance to play 30. It's just that as an existence with a strong desire to become stronger in the team, even when he didn't play in the battle, this guy has always strengthened his own training. This time, when Oki planned to try the Dragonair training results, he also replaced it, trying to use it as the finale of challenging the gym. Oh, take the Dragonair back. Are you trying to beat me one-on-one? Although I'm not the main force, it's not easy to defeat. You're a bit crazy. Lapras, use the freezing light. Arbok, dodge the poison barb attack. Price, don't underestimate my Arbok, this is the top few existences in my team. The freezing light hit Arbok quickly, but it easily dodged it. At the same time, the slightly purple poison barb hit Lapras. Because there was no order from Price, Lapras didn't hide in the water, but with his rich combat experience, he immediately used the second freezing light to freeze Poison Barb completely. Very well, Lapras used the Hydro Pump. Arbok, dodge and rush to use the binding attack. Because Price's Lapras is also very good in size, Arbok's body length is used to bind it, so he can only choose the neck part as much as possible. After dodging the incoming Hydro Pump, Oak's Arbok entangles Lapras. Very well, Lapras played Perish Song. Lapras was entangled, but Price didn't look nervous at all, that's what he was waiting for. No, Arbok used noise. The moment Price gave the order, Oki also thought that he was a little ill-considered. To deal with Sonic BBFE attacks, the best way is to use Sonic unique moves to resist it, or hurting each other is also good. The two Pokémon were very uncomfortable with the Sonic attack at close range. However, because the effect of Perish Song takes time, the damage is considerable when the time is up. But the effect of Lapras, who is attacked by the noise at close range, is obviously more effective in a short time. Although Price gave orders several times, Lapras seemed to have a temporary tinnitus and could not hear Price's orders at all. Time is running out, Arbok poison Barb and then destroy the Death Light with all its strength. The effect of Perish Song will come sooner or later with the passage of time, and the power is not small. Oki can only end the battle before the effect comes. Because he didn't let go of Lapras just now, Arbok's poison Barb hit him at close range, and after Arbok prepared the destructive Death Beam, he let it go and swam for a while and then directly hit him with the destructive Death Beam. Lapras, although he had rich combat experience, Lapras also knew that he should dodge, but unfortunately the distance was too close, and he couldn't dodge at all and was directly hit by the front. But Arbok used all his strength to destroy the Dead Light because of Oki's order, and Lapras' strength had not yet reached the point where he could be crushed, and he was directly beaten and lost his fighting ability. Lapras is incapacitated, so the challenger wins, Saima announced shortly after Lapras fell. But Oki obviously didn't have time to care about this matter. After the death light of the words came out, the effect of Perish Song soon came, and Arbok passed out directly. Blissey, come out and help. Price, release your Lapras and Dugong and let Blissey heal you. Because Perish Song directly acts on the spiritual power of the target Pokémon through mysterious means, Arbok consumed a lot of spiritual power, so he woke up after fainting for a while, and Oki breathed a sigh of relief. Thank you, then Dugong will come out too. Just when happiness was healing the three Pokémon, Aunt Sima, who had left after announcing the results of the competition, came back, followed by Ash and the others. Come on, Oki, this is the badge that you won the game. Aaron, the boys and girls behind are also here to challenge. It turned out that Aunt Sima left to get the ice badge, but Ash and the others happened to meet Aunt Sima and rushed over together. Brother Yi, you guys are here too. That means you are the challenger that Aunt Sima said just now? Well, I want to challenge too. I just followed Aunt Sima's footsteps and ran here. Already tired Ash, who was half dead, suddenly revived with full blood. Just be happy. Oki, who was frightened by Ash's enthusiasm, didn't know what to say, so he could only cope with it. Do you want to challenge too? Then what's the matter with your Pikachu? Price heard that Ash wanted to challenge, that is, he asked a question first. Ash, who likes Pokémon very much and a Pikachu that accompanies him, proudly introduces Pikachu to Price. Did you say it? This is my best buddy Pikachu who has been with me since the beginning of my travels. That means it has never been in a Pokéball. That's what Ash was good at, and after a bit of stalking, Price finally agreed to give him a try. Price feels like he has completed the transformation from cold winter to spring, and the way of fighting is also full of passion, which is very different from Price yesterday. But that Piloswine is a bit different. After decades of freezing, it has just thawed. But its trick is unexpectedly strong, just like absorbing the power of ice in the process of being frozen underground. Still haven't recovered a bit, why *3? When Misty and Zyoging heard this, they also asked in comprehension. Your strength is not up to standard, you should go back and practice more. After finishing speaking, Price walked directly towards the forest, probably annoyed by Ash's entanglement. The next day, Oki actually went to watch Ash's gym challenge. Oki and the others wanted to leave after the challenge, so they did not catch up like Zyoging and the others and returned directly to Mahogany Town. Because I want to see that cold Price's 180-degree transformation. Of course, the Piloswine I want to see the most. Oki didn't lie, he really wanted to see how Price changed, but it was more like watching what you are looking at is the strength of the Piloswine that has been frozen for decades. That night when Oki and Sir Lena were wandering in Mahogany Town, they ran into Ash by accident. This time, Oki really saw Ash's miraculous fighting, and all kinds of strange fighting methods really emerged one after another. At the same time, Oki and the others also saw the changed Price and the reappearance of Piloswine after being frozen for decades. Yeah, it doesn't like the feeling of being in the Pokéball, so it has been with me all the time. Ash replied without any suspicion, so the result was a bit cruel. However, Ash's brain hole opened up again and he actually sent Phanpy, a Pokémon who was just born but was sent by Price, who had just recovered a little dugong, frozen into an ice cube with a freezing light. Then you go back, I don't accept your challenge. Price, as expected, Ash went straight after him, indulging in Pokémon because I'm too attached to it. Price said a lot, but the core meaning was I don't agree with your challenge. Although Oki knew about this a long time ago, he still told Ash that he would go to watch the game tomorrow, which made Ash very excited. After some conversation, Oki learned that when Price was entangled by Ash, the two fell off the cliff by accident, but rarely found Price's Piloswine by accident, and Price himself also untied his knot. As if he had changed like a person, he also agreed to Ash to challenge again the next day, which was a blessing in disguise for Ash. Yi, why do you want to watch Ash's game? After Ash and the others left, Sir Lena asked. Mahogany Gym in Mahogany Town, Oki and Sir Lena left directly after watching the gym competition. Yi, where are we going this time? Sir Lena asked, seeing that the direction of travel was not going directly to Blackthorn City. The place we are going to this time is not Blackthorn City. We have to go to a rather special place first. There seems to be a divine bird there. What? Divine bird? What kind of place is that? Since Oki subdued Articuno, every time Articuno was released, Sir Lena would run to its side to get close to it and heard that there was another divine bird, which was naturally a little bit excited. Okay, I agree with what other people said and I won't know the specifics until the past. Seeing Sir Lena's unbearable excitement, Oki quickly stopped her and told her to hurry. However, Sir Lena, who knew that she could meet another divine bird, was so excited that she was already hurrying with all her strength, without being reminded by Oak. After a few days of traveling, I encountered a plane full of Oddish and its evolution along the way, and also met a self-proclaimed Pokémon magician Stephanie. But in Oki's view, those magics are nothing more than through various materials. It's nothing more than making potions that produce certain illusions. Although this is already great, Oki has no interest in this at all. Not to mention the inexplicable materials, but the effect it can produce also made Oki completely lose interest. After all, if you have that spare time, if you have a few more Pokémon and train it, the effect will be better than that. After traveling for so long, Oki and the others finally came to the vicinity of what can be called the Lake of Electricity. Although the information says that the lake is located on the top of the mountain, but there are so many mountains here, Oki doesn't want to go to find them one by one. So I released the Thunder Shockmone near there. Electabuzz, use your heart to sense where there is a lot of electricity-type spiritual power near here. Thunder Shock has been together for so long, and although Namba is a bit valued, but most of the time it still feels like a test product, so Electabuzz has gradually opened up his heart, and the relationship with Oki has also improved. Electabuzz closed his eyes and sensed for a while, and Oki didn't urge him, because Electabuzz can't even get Quasi-Elite now, so it's really difficult to do this. However, although there are difficulties, it only takes a little more time. After Oki waited patiently for a long time, Electabuzz opened his eyes and looked in a certain direction. Over there. Well, let's go then. Oki, who was confirmed by Electabuzz, took Sir Lena and headed towards the direction indicated by Electabuzz. After climbing over 2 hills, Oki saw that there seemed to be more electric Pokémon around. But the current place is still a forest, so it stands to reason that it is a place with fewer electric Pokémon. But there are so many electric-type Pokémon here. There is only one explanation. There must be something on the mountain that is attracting them. So many? After climbing up the mountain with Lena and Electabuzz, Oki saw that the lake on the top of the mountain was full of electric-type Pokémon, such as Naughty Bullet, Electabuzz, Raichu, Magnemite, and even Ampharos, Lay Pokémon, and all kinds of Pokémon. And there seems to be some rules here to restrain them. In this area, there are no Pokémon quarrels and fights, and they all look very comfortable in the lake. Electabuzz, go down and feel it too, Oki said to his Electabuzz. Electabuzz saw so many Pokémon of the same type, and even the same kind of Pokémon soaking in this lake, it has long been a little eager to try. After hearing Oki's words, he nodded and jumped into the lake, and judging by its appearance, it should feel pretty good. It's a magical place, and it seems that this place is bound by Zapdos, and there are no Pokémon to fight or anything. Let's camp here for a night and see if we can meet that Zapdos. Lena Normal would not object to Oki's decision. After nodding in agreement, Oki and the others found a suitable place and started to set up a tent and prepare for cooking. Because this lake is a bit special, and you can see so many electric-type Pokémon bathing in it. So the water used by Oki is also put in the backpack just in case anyway. If you need it later or go to another place, just reinstall it. When we came here, it was almost noon, so Oki and the others started cooking directly after setting up the tent. Oki, who had finished eating, kept asking Ling to test the aptitude of the Pokémon in the lake, but unfortunately nothing seemed to be harvested. After waiting all afternoon, Zapdos did not show up. Although with my current ability, it is no longer enough to subdue another divine bird, but I will meet you and even fight. It is also quite beneficial. After Oki finished his dinner, he had already decided that if Zapdos hadn't appeared by noon tomorrow, he would release Articuno and lure it out. Because there is no Pokémon fighting or hostility here, Oki and Sir Lena slept very soundly in the tent after Jengar was kept on vigil. It seems that we still have to use violence. Waiting until noon, Zapdos did not appear at all, so Oki planned to use his own method to lure it out. But just when Oki was about to release Articuno, a Stephanie appeared next to them. She claimed to be the administrator of this region, named Yusha. After chatting for a while, although it was strange where Oki and the others knew the secret of this lake, Yusha still hoped that the two of them would stop telling others about this place. After Oki told her identity, Yusha felt more at ease. In return, Yusha told Oki that Zapdos is the patron saint, or the boss, of the electric-type Pokémon Lake of Healing. And the crystal in the Lake of Healing has always existed only as a medium. And the real power of healing has always been it is Zapdos that guides the natural thunder and lightning, and maintains the special healing power of this lake like a charge. For this reason, Zapdos normally only appears in rainy days, and 2 days later there was another thunderstorm. If you want to see Zapdos, you can only wait for 2 more days in this place. Ask for flowers. Oki and Lena discussed it and looked at Electabuzz, whose spirit is getting better and better after soaking in the Lake of Healing, and his strength seems to have increased at the same time. He still plans to stay and wait for 2 days to see how Zapdos gave this charged by the lake. And according to Yusha, the healing effect is best when Zapdos is recharging the lake. My own Electabuzz used to follow Namba, and he was subjected to experiments or brought products that were successfully tested. So there should be some injuries that cannot be seen, so after soaking in this lake, there will be an increase in strength. I waited here for another 2 days and the weather was the same as what Yusha said. It gradually started to rain and there was thunder and lightning from time to time. Western. As the first bolt of lightning fell into the Lake of Healing, the Lake of Healing that followed was like being condemned by God. The thunder and lightning fell from the sky of the lake in a gust of wind and rain, and it lasted for more than 10 minutes. Time it slowly calmed down. Electabuzz, go in quickly. Seeing the dazzling light in the Lake of Healing, Oki commanded Electabuzz to jump in. Although Electabuzz was afraid of sparks still shining in the lake, relying on the trust in Oki accumulated during this period, Electabuzz resolutely jumped into the Lake of Healing. Thunder shock. As soon as he jumped into the lake, Electabuzz was excited by the spark inside and screamed. It's just that without Oki's order, Electabuzz could only grit his teeth and persevere. Electabuzz, hold on, the hidden wounds on your body are slowly healing, you should be able to feel it. Hearing Oak's voice, Electabuzz sensed his own contest condition and suddenly felt less uncomfortable. In fact, Oki has also been using the contest condition of Electabuzz, the Ling detector, to let Electabuzz jump into the lake at this time, which is also the suggestion given by Ling. But now it seems that the effect is really good. When Ling kept monitoring the Electabuzz contest condition, and Electabuzz was also gritting his teeth in the Lake of Healing, Oki, Sir Lena, and the administrator named Yusha all looked at Sky of the Lake of Healing, because Zapdos showed up. It seems that when Zapdos recharged the Lake of Healing, it didn't consume a lot of it. Seeing Zapdos looking a little out of breath, Oak thought thoughtfully. After Zapdos flew down from the dark clouds, he kept staring at Electabuzz, who was silently persisting in the lake, and before Oak, Yi, and the others could react, a thunder hit Electabuzz. Master, don't worry. According to the test, the lightning's lethality is not strong and it has a healing effect. Just when Oak Yi was about to release the Pokémon to block it, Spirit stopped him. And the following Electabuzz's performance also confirmed the conjecture of Ling, and also made Oak Yi and the others who had been nervous all the time relax. On an unknown mountaintop, Oak Yi and the others nervously watched Electabuzz in the Lake of Healing, and Zapdos in Sky from time to time. 10 minutes later, Sky's Zapdos sent thunder to Electabuzz again, and with the previous experience, Oki did not stop, but looked at his Electabuzz nervously. Time passed by every minute and every second. As for the Electabuzz contest condition in the lake, it was getting better and better, and according to Ling's monitoring, its strength was also getting stronger and stronger. Elite level. Thunder shock. Not long after the second thunder shot, Electabuzz slowly began to emit the light of evolution. This is evolution. Oki looked at you in disbelief at this scene. A few minutes passed, and the evolution of Electabuzz was complete. An Electivire appeared in the Lake of Healing. After feeling his newly evolved body, the Electivire jumped directly to Oki on the shore. Without Oki's order, Ling directly gave the information of Electivire. Electivire. Gender male. Attribute electricity. Height 2.2 m, normal 1, 0308 m. Qualification purple. Strength level quasi-elite advanced. Moves: electric terrain, lightning palm, light screen, fire punch, Orberg tail, thunderbolt, electro ball. Looking at the Electivire in front of him, Oak felt that the 2 days of waiting were really worth it. Electabuzz, who didn't even reach the quasi-elite level, suddenly reached the quasi-elite level after such a short period of time. This is already among the top ranks in his Pokémon team. In the next time, he may still need to consolidate. After all, he has improved too much. Soon. After reading the Electivire information, Oki looked towards Sky's Zapdos and found that it had slowly landed and then sank directly into the Lake of Healing. Having received such a great favor, let's wait for Zapdos to recover before leaving. Oki said this time to Electivire. Thunder shock. Electivire nodded, then gestured to Oki and then jumped into the Lake of Az and sank directly into the lake. Although it is very strange when this guy learned to dive. But after the Electivire disappeared in front of his eyes, Oki smiled apologetically at Lena, and he seemed to have suddenly decided to disrupt the original plan. It's okay, besides, Zapdos has helped so much, so it's only right for us to help protect it. The considerate Sir Lena said that she understood very well. It seems that this Lake of Healing is also very helpful to Zapdos himself. After Oak Yi and the others waited for more than half an hour, Zapdos flew out of the Lake of Healing with full blood and resurrection. After Zapdos flew out of the Lake of Healing, he just flew away. And after Oak Yi got such a big help, he didn't have the nerve to ask Pokémon to block it. After Zapdos flew away, the dark clouds in the sky slowly dissipated, and the soaring in the sky became clearer, and gradually many electric-type Pokémon came to the Lake of Healing. And after there was nothing else to do here, Oak Yi and the others also set off towards Blackthorn City again. Because there was nothing else to disturb their progress, Oak Yi and the others rushed to Blackthorn City after a period of time. The last city is also the last badge. How time flies. When he came near Blackthorn City, Dashui couldn't help sighing. Yeah, but traveling can really mean a lot of things. After Lena Tianjian, she also lamented her travel experience with Oki during this period of time. The atmosphere became dull, but soon the two cheered up directly because they were young people after all and the sigh would only be temporary. Ha ha ha, let's go. After challenging the King Blackthorn Gym, there should be a long time before the opening of the Silver Conference. We can have a good time. Okay, but we can plan carefully where we will go. Mentioning this, Sir Lena's emotions were also mobilized. Seeing that it was getting late, Oki and the others directly found a hotel to stay in. Besides, Oki needed to think about challenging the Pokémon in the Blackthorn Gym. The only Pokémon that was originally decided to use was Dragonair, because Oki already felt that it was about to evolve. Now the trouble is the remaining two Pokémon. Moreover, the Blackthorn Gym is the last gym that Oki will challenge in the Johto region. Whether it is the assist gym that evolves the Pokémon, or after the evolution of the Pokémon, there will be a beautiful guard battle, which makes Oki very embarrassed. Sir Lena asked for advice. What's there to think about? We're not in a hurry now, are we? Sir Lena didn't give any advice directly, but just reminded Oki of one thing. What Lena said made Oki feel suddenly enlightened, and then he made a decision in an instant. Since it is the ending battle, let's have a beautiful battle. Moreover, it seems that the Dratini in the Blackthorn Gym has not yet evolved, which makes Oki a little bit uninterested. In the next few days, Oki will take Charizard and Dragonair to find a place to have a good battle, trying to speed up the evolution of Dragonair and complete the evolution before the gymnasium competition. It's a pity that evolution is not so easy. Although Dragonair feels that it is about to evolve, Dazong feels that something is missing. While letting Dragonair and Charizard fight, Yin Xiaonie also released the Red Gyarados for training. And in order to stimulate it, Oki also released the already evolved Electivire. The effect was very strong. The guy who saw the K kicked him up became stronger again. The Red Gyarados reacted very strongly. In the next training arranged by Oki, he was very serious. And because of special reasons, this guy's progress is also obvious. In the past few days, he has reached the point where he is about to break through to Quasi-Elite. Just when Oki was training Dragonair and Gyarados as usual, another person suddenly appeared in the very remote training ground he was looking for. Hello, my name is Claire. Is this Dragonair your Pokémon? The visitor was very excited to see Dragonair. But it was not the kind that ordinary people see Quasi-God Pokémon, but it is unique to Dragon Pokémon enthusiasm. Ash's challenge on the second day was not smooth. The first Pokémon Claire sent was Kingdra, which was quite powerful. Ash sent Pikachu, but the attack did not hurt the Kingdra at all. In this case, Ash they called Pikachu back and sent Noctowl, but the situation is still not optimistic. Coupled with this person's self-introduction, the identity is ready to be revealed. Come out Dratini Gyarados. After looking at Oki's Pokémon for a while, Claire also turned directly to the lake and released her own Pokémon. My Pokémon is just this Dragonair, and that Dratini belongs to Miss Claire over here. But don't be so rash in the future. It's very dangerous, Oki said while touching Dragonair's long neck. Hello, my name is Oki. This Dragonair is my Pokémon. Yes, you are trainer Claire from Yanhei Gym, right? Hey, you know me. But your Dragonair is really strong, and the Charizard here is the same as that special-colored Gyarados. After Claire was surprised for a moment, she focused her attention on Oki's Pokémon again. Up. Its brother Yi, are the Dragonair and Dratini both yours? We seemed a little excited when we saw them just now, which scared Dratini so. Ash said a little embarrassed. Ash's luck has always been good, and the three guys from the Rockets interrupted the challenge of the gymnasium again, and at the same time gave Ash a second chance to challenge. Oki doubted whether these guys were the bodyguards sent by Giovanni to Ash, and it was not impossible for Ash's mysterious father to do this. This Dratini, Oki looked at Claire's Dratini, feeling very special. What followed was Ash's relentless apology and then made another friend. Whenever this time comes, Oki has to admire the speed with which these three simple guys make friends. Dragonair, stop. The two of them had just arrived there when they saw Oki's Dragonair gathering dragon rage around his mouth, ready to launch it at several people on the shore. It's Ash, you guys. What happened here? Running to the other side, Oki found out that it was Ash and the others. That's right, you have Dragonair. I believe you have already seen it. My Dratini is about to evolve, but it needs a quiet environment for the last molt. Ash and the three of them seemed a little embarrassed when they heard Oki's words, but due to Xiao Gang's instinctive reaction, they quickly broke the atmosphere. With a common topic, the next two people started chatting on the topic of Pokémon. But after chatting for a while, something happened to Dratini and Dragonair. This day passed in the conversation of several people, but it was Claire's Dratini evolution, which made Oki realize that the current Blackthorn gym has been fattened and can be slaughtered. Seeing that Ash was in a hurry, Oki didn't intend to compete with him and directly gave up the right to challenge the next day. You're too much. Because he was not very familiar with it, Oki didn't know what to say, so he could only be polite. Beautiful lady, my name is Zyoging 2.2, may I ask? Because of the incident just now, Misty, who was still a little embarrassed, took away Zyoging who had hormones on his brain. Due to the trouble of the rockets, the gymnasium game died directly. But thanks to Oak Yi and the others, they followed Claire to the Dragon's Sanctuary here, and saw the Dragonite left by the previous owner of the Blackthorn Gym. But I saw it, the Dragonite was strong enough. But the three guys from the rockets seem to have made another big death, burning the place where the Dragonite inherited his trainer's last wish and vowed to protect it to the death. But when Oak Yi and the others arrived, the Dragonite had gone mad. Dragonite, calmed down. Seeing that the Dragonite left behind by her elders went crazy, Claire seemed very anxious. Although she is familiar with her at ordinary times, Dragonite, who has gone mad at the moment, obviously doesn't want to talk to her. Not only that, Dragonite seems to regard the people around her and Pokémon as enemies at this moment, and constantly emits destruction and death rays. Because of its strong strength, it is said that it has reached the championship level, so Dragonite's destruction and death light kept playing. If it wasn't for the fact that the favorite place of his trainer would be destroyed, Oki had reason to believe that everyone present would die. Here, I can't help it, let's fight. Although it's crazy, but the subconscious should cherish this place very much, so we didn't use all our strength. This is also our chance. It's unnecessary to beat it, but let's try to calm it down. Otherwise, something big will happen. Oki's proposal was approved by everyone, but the strength of Dragonite is there after all. Even if subconsciously 11 has the power to restrain one's own tricks, it is difficult for normal Pokémon to get close. Among the people present, Lena, Misty, and Zyoging Pokémon are not even qualified to be cannon fodder. Ash does have a Pokémon to fight with, but he doesn't have this guy with him. The only Pikachu who can explode from time to time is helpless against the flying Dragonite in the sky. So only Oak Yi and Claire can send Pokémon to catch two moves. Dragonair, let's go. Claire's Dragonair's strength is still good. Because of the precipitation during the Dratini period, it has reached the quasi-elite intermediate level as soon as it evolved. In addition, it is facing its own evolution type, so you can still make a move. In that case, come out Dragonair, Articuno, Charizard Mega Evolution. Looking around, the only ones who can send out Pokémon are myself and Claire, and with Claire on her body, the only Pokémon that can play a role is Dragonair. So he just unleashes 3 Pokémon that will only come in handy. Ash, hurry up and go to the rockets to get back the Dragon Fang. We won't be able to stop it for long. Knowing that his plan was unlikely to succeed, Oki asked Ash and the others to get back the Dragon Fang that could really come in handy. Listen up, 3 of you, rival is too strong. Our purpose is to calm down smelling salts, so try to avoid its attacks. Come on now, Dragonair, Articuno, Freezing Ray. Charizard, Dragon Rage. No, let's start talking nonsense, but Oki still explained the purpose of this battle, which cannot be regarded as a battle. Dragonair, U2, Chi-Yu. Hearing that, Claire, who was arranged by Oki, said the same to his own Dragonair. The 4 Pokémon shot together and directly attacked from all sides of Dragonite. But Dragonite restrained himself from using the power of the ultimate move. The reaction speed and physical fitness were there after all. The 2 freezing rays were flashed past, and Charizard's Dragon Rage was directly killed, the only Chi-Yu's ultimate move that has played a role in destroying the dead light offset. It only stunned Dragonite for a while, but it couldn't make smelling salts come over. Soon, under the Dragonite's unparalleled speed and the destructive death light swayed wantonly, several Pokémon fell down one after another. And because of the difference in strength, even if they touched them, they were seriously injured. Just when Dragonite locked the target on Oki and the others again, they were called by Oki to look for the rockets. And Ash and the others who snatched Dragon Fang back came back. Looking at the scene in front of them, they were stunned. Obviously, they were waiting for someone rushing at the fastest speed. The rockets handed over Dragon Fang without any resistance. But in such a short period of time, several Pokémon that were already strong in the eyes of himself and others fell directly. Ash, what are you still doing in a daze? Take out Dragon Fang and throw it over to Dragonite. Seeing that Ash, who had rushed back, was still dazed, Oak yelled. Oh, Dragonite, look what this is. Hearing Oki's words, Ash finally came to his senses, directly took Dragon Fang out of the box, caught Dragonite's attention and threw it over. The Dragon Fang in the Blackthorn Gymnasium did have its special ability. The moment Dragonite took Dragon Fang into his hand, a dragon-shaped beam of light shot out of Dragon Fang directly, and then directly surrounded Dragonite, who lost his mind. After a long time, the dragon-shaped beam of light disappeared, and Dragonite seemed to have regained its senses. Normal was flying in the air in a daze. After a while, it flew directly towards Oki and the others, but Oki and the others could feel that it was not malicious. And after it fell in front of him and the others, Celestic's simple and honest expression in those pure eyes could not tell at all that this guy was trying to beat himself, and the others to the ground just now with a trick. Great, Dragonite, you finally regained your sanity. Seeing that Dragonite recovered, Claire rushed directly to give it a big hug. As the Pokémon left behind by the old owner of the Blackthorn Gym, although he has been living a life of indifference, Dragonite still takes good care of Claire. So the relationship between Claire and Dragonite is also very good, and they basically regard Dragonite as the elders came to see it. Everyone who saw this scene didn't want to interrupt them. It's just that there was a little accident on the scene. Okia's Dragonair was lying on the ground with wounds all over his body, but after Blissey briefly helped it heal, it seemed that it had found the opportunity it had been looking for a long time and began to evolve. Evolution is a process from one level of life to another level of life. So when evolving, Pokémon will absorb a lot of spiritual power and speed up the healing of injuries. So after the evolution of Okia's Dragonair, more than half of the injuries on his body have healed. At the same time, he looked at Claire's Dragonair expectantly, as if waiting for it to evolve into normal. As a relatively good Dragon-type Pokémon, Kingdra's combat effectiveness is still very strong, especially in the hands of Claire, who is very familiar with Dragon-type Pokémon. Kingdra's combat effectiveness should not be underestimated. And judging from the competition yesterday and the day before yesterday, even without water, the speed of this Kingdra is very fast. Ash is very happy, but there are things that make him even more happy, because Jaiki and Claire in the Charizard Valley are very familiar with each other, and they often bring Charizard here for special training. So before the gym challenge, Ash succeeded again, a veteran is recalled, and the next thing is how to match the remaining two Pokémon. After all, it was the cabin left by her grandfather. Claire looked at the place that had been burned to ashes and didn't know what to say for a while. Anyway, it was the last gymnasium, and Oki was not in a hurry, so he nodded and agreed indifferently. Okay, then I'll go first tomorrow. The topic was successfully changed, and Ash looked at Oki expectantly after listening. Because the three Pokémon that Claire challenged in the gym were defeated by Ash, they were somewhat exhausted and injured. In order to fight against Claire with the best contest condition, and try his Pokémon's strength by the way, Oki deliberately challenged the gym to quash for another day. On the basis of the return of the veteran Charizard, Ash replaced Snorlax, added Pikachu and his own fighting inspiration from time to time, and finally defeated Jaiki, and won the final prize for participating in the Johto Region Alliance Silver Conference. A badge can be regarded as a ticket to the Silver Conference. As for how far he can go, it depends on his luck or how strong the butterfly effect brought by the butterfly Oki is. Okay, this is my first Pokémon, Kingdra. After Kabu finished the process, Claire unsurprisingly sent Kingdra first. Another Dragonite, Ash exclaimed after seeing the completion of Dragonair's evolution. Now it's Blackthorn Gym trainer Claire and Oki from Pallet Town and Badge. As Blackthorn Gym or Claire's personal butler, Kabu is also responsible for the referee. It's okay, but the gym challenge can only be continued tomorrow. Seeing that the people around her became a little sad along with her, Claire changed the subject. As for the stupid Ash, Claire can only give him a blank look. Her Dragonair has just evolved not long ago. How could it evolve so quickly? Even if it can evolve, it will definitely hurt the original one. To kill chickens and fetch eggs. P.S. I drove home yesterday, so no update. And because it is a train, it is a bit slow. After I got home today, I wrote this chapter, and the next chapter will probably be later. Today is the new year. I wish all book friends a happy family reunion, happiness, and well-being. On the second day, Gym 113 continued. Ash challenged first. Claire felt very relieved, touched Dragonite and her own Dragonair and said, "It doesn't matter, as long as Pokémon is around, those flowers and plants will grow back soon." As for the wooden house, because I decided to let those two fight against your Dragonair and Gyarados respectively, so I can only send it. Come out Charizard Mega Evolution. After Oki finished speaking, he released Charizard and directly opened the Mega Evolution. What about this place? Oki, who had just finished observing his Dragonite, looked at the devastation here and asked a little speechlessly. After a long time of practice and actual combat, the time required for the Mega Evolution of Oki and Charizard has been shortened to 1 second, which is a great improvement. Charizard, after the Mega Evolution, raised his head to the sky and let out a long cry. Although it only had a little bit of dragon type after the Mega Evolution, Oki and everyone present could feel a sense of being a dragon in this long cry. Momentum. In fact, Pokémon like Charizard and Aerodactyl have the shape and name of a dragon, but they do not have a dragon type. More or less, they still have the blood of a dragon. So confident. Although I saw your strength yesterday, I was shocked that you can subdue the beast Pokémon like Articuno, but I'm not a vegetarian. Kingdra Freezing Ray. Kingdra's freezing light trick is still very powerful, but if it can't hit it, it's fake. After Charizard Mega evolves, it has reached the elite level, so it is very easy to dodge the attack of the freezing light. Charizard, let it meet your rage, Dragon Stars, and then Dragon Rage. Charizard's Dragon Star group is very powerful and has a wide range of attack density, but Kingdra's speed is really fast, and they all dodge one by one. It's a pity that Oki, who knows and has seen it with his own eyes, never thought that Long Zinquin could hit it. So just after Kingdra avoided the attack of the Dragon Star group, Charizard's Dragon Rage came in front of it. Kingdra, a Twister, let yourself fly. At the critical moment, Claire issued an order that was surprising but effective for the current situation. I don't know if she just came up with it, or if she has experienced similar situations before. Great but useless, Charizard Dragon's Tail. When Dragon Rage missed, Charizard prepared other tricks. After hearing Oki's order, he tried his wings hard, but he didn't fly up and turned over directly. Its long tail directly hit Kingdra, who was still flying in the weakened version of Twister. What? Kingdra Hydro Pump? Claire couldn't believe it. It's late, Charizard Dragon's Claw. The reason why Claire asked Kingdra to use the Hydro Pump was also to get out of Charizard's melee attack range. But Charizard's combat reaction speed was really fast. Almost as soon as Oak's anecdote fell, Dragon's Claw directly slashed the Hydro that had just spit up Pump's ultimate move hit Kingdra's body. Final blow, Flamethrower, finish it off. Flamethrower is the most frequently used move by fire Pokémon, but it is also the most effective move. The Flamethrower directly submerged Kingdra, who was still struggling to stand up after falling to the ground. After the flames passed, it was already fainted. Come back, Kingdra, come on, Gyarados. Claire knew she was defeated the moment Kingdra was knocked out by the Dragon's Claws, but there were 2 more fights to go. Because of a special reason, Okyina, who just evolved Gyarados, is still far behind his own Gyarados in terms of strength. Then there is the newly evolved Dragonite. As a family whose ancestors used Dragon Pokémon exclusively, Claire naturally knows a lot of Dragon Pokémon cultivation secrets. For example, her Dratini will become a quasi-elite intermediate after evolution. Directly growing to a quasi-elite level in terms of strength, he is actually not so afraid of Okya's Dragonite. Even if I lose, I will use 2 Pokémon to match your 2 Pokémon one-on-one. Claire looked at Oki on the opposite side and thought silently. It's just that this scene was unfortunately seen by Sir Lena, who was watching the battle. As a normal woman, Sir Lena still inevitably thought about whether she would have an extra love rival or something like that. But after thinking about it for a while, she thought again, abandoned this idea, and she also believed in Okiat. Charizard, leave the rest to the other partners. Come back. Come on, Gyarados. Oki naturally didn't know what was going on in the hearts of the 2 women. He only knew that the real exciting battle was about to begin now. This Gyarados with a special color but not a flash Pokémon is really good, but the difference in strength level is enough to overwhelm you. Gyarados Hydro Pump. Claire obviously knows this truth. Not necessarily, Gyarados, we also use Hydro Pumps. As a sequela of evolution, Oak's red Gyarados have always been very rage. But after training, they can keep calm and think in battle. But after hearing Claire's words, the red Gyarados couldn't control his violent temper. Now he had the opportunity to attack with all his strength, and a thick Hydro Pump spit out from his mouth and sprayed towards Claire's Gyarados. The 2 thick Hydro Pumps were handed over directly in the air. Although the level of strength was a little lower than that of Claire's Gyarados, the red Gyarados was still not afraid of this Hydro Pump trick. Gyarados Orberg Tail, too. Like a tacit understanding, the 2 trainers gave orders at the same time, and the orders were the same. The tails of the 2 Gyarados collided together. This time, Oki's red Gyarados couldn't hold it anymore. After all, there was a gap in strength, and there was also a gap in physical strength. Several collisions of Orberg's tails failed, so keep going, certainly not good for it. However, as Claire's main Pokémon, this Gyarados' perseverance is amazing. When the red Gyarados fell into a stiff contest condition, he tried his best to launch a Dragon Rage. The Twister is very powerful. Almost the moment the red Gyarados let go, it was rolled almost off the ground. Gyarados' body size plus weight. That is not a small number. Claire's Gyarados ramped up Twister's power, and at the same time began to prepare to destroy the Death Ray. Use 2 tricks at the same time, and both of them consume a lot of energy. Only a Pokémon that has been really well cultivated can do it. Gyarados, let go, destroy the Death Light. Such a stalemate is actually not good for Gyarados, so Oki tried to fight. But the red Gyarados didn't want Oki to give other orders, and Oki really didn't let him change his trick. As a result, The tails of the two Gyarados kept colliding, and it was only from the sound that one could tell how fierce it was. At the same time, the red Gyarados kept being repulsed and kept rushing forward, but this was not only increasing his own scars, it doesn't work at all. I saw that Claire's Gyarados was being resisted by a large stream of water at the moment, obviously unable to complete the action of leaning back. Although it only takes Gyarados a struggle to get rid of the water flow control. P.S. I didn't sleep well on the train, I was really sleepy, so let's start with so much for today. Please understand, thank you. It's useless, you think my water sport trick just now is just to deal with Dragon's Breath. Okia's words startled Claire, and she immediately looked at her own Gyarados. The end result was that both Pokémon lost their ability to fight at the same time, and Claire's Gyarados also showed Trainer his determination. However, Oki was very happy to put away the red Gyarados, because compared to the victory of a battle, the benefits that Gyarados got this time can completely be ignored. Gyarados break free, use the Twister. The huge wind of the Twister has been sweeping the two Gyarados. The red Gyarados keeps increasing the strength on its mouth. Claire's Gyarados feels the pain and also increases the strength of the Twister, trying to break free. The red Gyarados used Water Sport to continuously counteract the Dragon's Breath. But the Dragon's Breath was not a unique move like Stun Spore, and it was obviously unstoppable with Water Sport alone. So after blocking apart, the red Gyarados' teeth gradually condensed with cold air and then bit towards Claire's Gyarados. Gyarados Water Sport Fang of Ice. Water Sport's unique move is very common even without training. It has no lethality at all, but it may be just right when used at this time. The two destructive dead rays collided because they were prepared in advance, so they were equal in power. However, the contact point of the two destructive death rays was a little closer to Claire's Gyarados, so it suffered a little more damage, almost fainted after the explosion. And Gyarados did the same, but this little time was enough and the red Gyarados' big mouth directly bit Claire Gyarados' neck. Gyarados leaned back, Orberg tail. Claire leaned back to gain distance, then hit with the Orberg tail. At this time, all the trainers on both sides can do is to help their own Pokémon. Because of the preparations in advance, Okia's red Gyarados was the first to prepare to destroy the Death Ray. After several difficult adjustments to the attack angle, the destructive Death Ray was launched. Seeing this, Claire's Gyarados could only stop the Twister, using all his energy and spiritual power to prepare for the destruction of the Death Ray, and finally launched his own destructive Death Ray before being hit by the destructive Death Ray. You don't need to fight if this continues. What are you planning? Gyarados, the breath of the dragon. Claire has always thought that Oki is a very rational person. Such an abnormal behavior may have some kind of conspiracy in it. So I took the initiative to change tactics. Blackthorn City Blackthorn Gymnasium, the second game between Oki and the owner Claire ended, and both Gyarados were disabled at the same time. Both Gyarados are disabled at the same time now for the third battle. Kabu announced the result of the game. Okay, it's you now, come on Dragonite. Oki took Gyarados back the Piquet ball with a smile on his face and then released the Dragonite. You're quite happy, then let me show you the battle of Dragon Pokémon in our Blackthorn Gym. Come on Dragonair. The moment he saw Dragonair, Oki's Dragonite uttered a dragon chant and waves of sound surged around. Although Dragonair also groaned, but the voice was too gentle and it lost its deterrent power. Okay, at the request of both parties, the venue for the third game is no longer restricted. After asking both parties, Kabu opened the roof of the gymnasium directly. This should have been taken into consideration when it was built. Hahaha, come on Dragonite, freezing light. The situation is very favorable for Oki, so he is relatively relaxed. Dragonair, dodge it and destroy the Death Ray. Claire's order surprised Oki and the people around him, and they didn't expect that she would amplify her moves from the very beginning. Dragonite, show your speed, agility, dodges and destroys Death Ray to fight back. I didn't expect that Claire would increase his moves. This is true, but Oki, who has become more and more relaxed, has also begun to be a little casual. After Dragonite heard Oki's order, she fluttered her pair of small wings. Agility directly avoided Dragonair's destructive death beam, and at the same time released her own destructive death beam at close range. Dragonair, protect. Seeing that Dragonite was so close, Claire also knew that hiding was impossible now, so she directly chose to fight hard. With the protective green light emitting from Dragonair's body, the destructive death light hit it directly. After the smoke and dust passed, Dragonair floated on the opposite side as if nothing had happened. Is there really nothing? I don't believe it. Dragonite, Dragon's Charge. Although the skill of protection is amazing, but corresponding to its effect, the consumption will not be small. Oki has reason to believe that after receiving Dragonite's destructive death light at close range, Dragonair's spiritual power must have been greatly consumed. Dragonair, get out of the way and then tie it up. Although not as fast as Dragonite, Dragonair's snake-like body has its own advantages. After dodging the dragon's charge relatively easily, a blue light emerged from the sharp horns above its head. This trick should be unique to the Blackthorn gym, because Oki can feel that this ray of light is completely composed of the spiritual power of the dragon. The blue light was like a rope directly tying Dragonite up, and it seemed to be quite strong. But when the Dragonite in the sanctuary was going crazy, Oki had seen Claire's Dragonair use this trick, but Dragonite easily broke free. Although there are reasons for strength, what is certain is that this thing can break free directly as long as the strength is strong enough. Dragonite, get rid of it, Flamethrower. Claire's Dragonair strength is still very good, and the strength of this trick should not be underestimated. Because it wasn't as powerful as the Dragonite from the sanctuary, Oki's Dragonite couldn't break free for a while. Seeing this, Oki can only let it use Flamethrower to harass Dragonair first. At least it can't make it attack at this time. Dragonair dodge, use Freeze Beam. While Dragonair was avoiding Flamethrower, the blue light above his head didn't stop, so Claire also tried to attack at this time, at least to hurt Dragonite. Use Superpower. Okay, seeing that Dragonite broke free from the restraint after using Superpower, Oki nodded in satisfaction. Rush forward, Freeze Punch. Dragonair's attack smackdown was empty, and Dragonite rushed over immediately, successfully hitting Dragonair with a freezing fist. Dragonair, are you okay? Well, fly up and gather Thunderous. Claire was worried about Dragonair's contest condition, but Dragonair nodded and told her that she had no problem. Do you still want to use that trick? Don't forget that my Dragonite also evolved from Dragonair. Now Dragonite, use Thunder. Thunder. When Oak asked Dragonite to use Thunder, Claire also hurriedly asked Dragonair to use Thunder. She didn't want to gather thunderous movements by herself, but instead helped the enemy on the opposite side. Because of Thunder's unique move, Thunder continued to strike down and slash towards Dragonite and Dragonair. Fortunately, this is the world of Pokémon, and Pokémon has all kinds of strange abilities, and this kind of thunder will not cause any confusion at all. If you put it in the previous life where science is paramount and there is no special ability to show, it will definitely make the majority of netizens wonder who has done something immoral, and it has been struck by lightning like this. Or it will attract a bunch of people on the internet to say that they are crossing the catastrophe. In the past, Oki would have thought that this was because netizens were fascinated by reading novels. But after learning that the world also has mysterious power, Oki was really curious. Among the people who come out every time and say that they have crossed the catastrophe, is there really someone who has crossed the catastrophe? But these are far away. The thunder and lightning continue to strike down, and the Dragonite keeps dodging the falling lightning with speed, but there are really few who can dodge it. On the contrary, Dragonair is very calm on the ground, receiving the falling thunder and lightning, and from time to time it sends out unique moves to attack the Dragonite in the sky. Interesting is the lightning rod. But if you think that I was struck by lightning without any means, then you are wrong. Dragonite, that's enough, use Volt Tackle. After careful observation, Oki found that Dragonair's the tail has been inserted into the ground, and the flashing Oreburgh color shows that it has used the unique Oreburgh tail. Volt Tackle is an electric-type ultimate move, and Oki only discovered that he could use this unique move after Dragonair evolved into Dragonite. The lightning that falls from Assist soaring in the sky, Dragonite's body has accumulated a large amount of lightning, and when using Volt Tackle, the trick is also greatly strengthened. Because Dragonite itself is extremely fast, coupled with the acceleration of Volt Tackle, before Dragonair could react, Dragonite's attack had already arrived. Although the Oreburgh tail temporarily turned itself into a lightning rod, there are still limitations after all. When the Volt Tackle came, Dragonair not only had to withstand the impact, but also the harsh lightning accumulated by the Dragonite. Dragonair flew out immediately, at the same time it seems to be paralyzed. It's the last blow, let's make a big move. Dragonite, destroy the Death Light. Dragonair, get out of the way. Oak won't let go of this good opportunity. Claire tried to make Dragonair dodge, but the already paralyzed Dragonair had difficulty moving even now. The destructive Death Light hit head-on, and in the eyes of Claire, who almost gave up, Dragonair still fell down. Dragonair loses combat capability, Dragonite wins. Carmen announced the result of the game in a timely manner, which also meant that Oki's trip to the Johto region came to an end temporarily at this moment. Ha 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 ha, that's great, brother Yi, you also got the badge. We can have a good match at the Silver Conference and I won't admit defeat. Ash, who didn't know when came to watch the match, ran over. He warmly gave Oki a hug. When did you come here? Misty and the others are also there. I thought you had already left. Oki was a little confused and had no idea when Ash appeared. We came when you were playing Gyarados, but you were playing so happily you didn't notice. Okay, Oki recalled, it seemed that after Charizard defeated Kingdra, he didn't pay much attention to his surroundings and put all his attention on the game. Ash, I heard you still want to fight Oki at the Silver Conference. First consider whether you can persist until then. What? Misty, you look down on me. It was supposed to be. Sir Lena and the others also came towards this side when Ash rushed over, and they could hear what Ash said clearly. Just like Oki's bad friend in his previous life, when Ash gets carried away, Misty will always hurt him twice and pour him a basin of cold water. Anyway, these two people have been arguing like this all the time, and the more noisy the relationship, the better, so Oak Yi and the others didn't care about these two people, and they were busy with their own affairs. Oak Yi and Sir Lena were abusing singles every day. Zio Gang couldn't take it anymore after just one look, and went directly to Claire to pester her. Nana, I got the last badge, and there are still about 3 months before the Silver Conference. Have you figured out where to go next? Oki asked, holding Sir Lena's hand. Of course, I didn't go out with you this time. I just planned this in the hotel. I found a good place, can have a good time and let you train your Pokémon, and no unrelated people can disturb us. Sir Lena was excited when she talked about this, and her hard work during this time has finally come into play. While the two were talking about the place they were about to go to, Claire seemed to be so entangled by Zyoging that she ran to Oak Yi and the others under the pretext of handing out the badge, holding the gym badge in her hand. After getting the last badge in Blackthorn City, Oak Yi and the others did not immediately go to the place where they decided to take a vacation, but went back to New Barktown, because before registering in New Barktown, they signed up for the gym challenge. So after getting 8 badges, you have to do the final registration for the Silver Conference at the place where you first recorded. Ash was also registered at that place, so he also went back there, but Oak and Yi had something they wanted to do, so they didn't go back with them but rented a flying machine in Blackthorn City, planning to go directly fly back to New Barktown. A few days later, Oak Yi and the others returned to New Barktown. After signing up for the Silver Conference with Nurse Joy, the two originally planned to go to the target place immediately. But Professor Elm told them that Professor Oak will come to New Barktown in a few days. Congratulations to them, all got 8 badges and got the admission qualification for Silver Conference. Grandpa is coming here, let's play for a few days before leaving. After understanding the situation, Oki planned to stay here for a few more days. Well, that's fine, let's just rest here for a few days. As Oki's girlfriend, Oki's grandfather may be her grandfather, so Lena naturally wouldn't have any objections. In this way, Oak Yi and Sir Lena stayed in New Barktown for a few more days. In the middle, Gary came back because he also registered to participate in the gymnasium competition here. But after knowing that Professor Oak is coming, this kid just talked to Professor Oak because he wanted to make a break with Ash at the Silver Conference. So for the remaining 3 months, he plans to continue traveling and improve himself Pokémon strength. A few days later, the ship that Professor Oak was on docked at the port, and Oak Yi and the others went to meet them together with Sir Lena. Is Aunt Delia here to give Ash a surprise? Seeing not only Professor Oak getting off the boat, but also Ash's mother Delia, Oak asked. That's right, you and Gary are fine. They performed so well when they were young. It's not surprising that they got 8 badges, but I didn't expect my stupid son to be able to do the same. I'm really happy. As a mother, Delia, there is no room for harming his own son. Ash is excellent. That kid's love for Pokémon from the heart and the inexplicable inspiration that often appears during battles will definitely become an excellent trainer in the future. Oki's words come from the heart. Delia, I can feel that the smile on my face is naturally brighter. That's right, Ash will definitely become an excellent trainer in the future. However, Zioyi, will you release the red Gyarados you tamed so that I can study it? Professor Oak saw his grandson saying hello to himself afterwards. I kept chatting with Delia, feeling a little anxious. After all, I came here this time with my own thoughts. Grandpa, how did you know? After I tamed the red Gyarados, I didn't send it back. Oki was very confused. His own Pokéball is not like Alliance's mass-produced Pokéball, although the Pokémon species will be known by the family, but the specific information will not be displayed. I found out when I was chatting with Du. What? That red Gyarados was subdued by you. Professor Elm, who had been busy with research during this time and didn't care about external affairs, exclaimed. Oops, that's not important. What's important is to release that Gyarados and let's study it. Professor Oak wanted to end these boring topics. I have no problem, but let's go to Professor Elm's laboratory first. There are so many people watching here, and it is not enough for your research conditions. At some point, they were surrounded by people. Seeing this situation, Professor Oak and the others temporarily suppressed their desire to see that Gyarados immediately and headed towards the laboratory first. After returning to the laboratory, the research souls of the two professors could no longer hold back, and they urged Oki to release Gyarados. No way, Oki had to release Gyarados and let it cooperate with the research of the two professors as much as possible. Then I handed Gyarados' Piquet ball to Professor Oak. I believe that with Professor Oak's means, Gyarados should not be a problem. In the evening, while having dinner, the two professors kept arguing about the red Gyarados. I think that Gyarados has become so violent, it should be related to its environment. No, I think its evolution is due to the rocket's evolution wave. So it is related to the evolution wave. No, I think. Because the two professors were arguing very fiercely, the remaining three people moved to another table and left the place for them. At the dining table with only Oak, Lena, and Delia, Oak and the others chatted while eating. Oak and the others told Delia a lot about Ash. And Delia told them the news that Ash was sent by Professor Elm to receive a Pokémon egg somewhere, and he will be back here soon. I remember Ash's Larvitar, that's how we met, so did they go there? Oki thought about it silently after listening to it. Oki's conjecture soon became a reality because Ash and the others sent a message to Professor Elm that the Pokémon egg hatched and it was a Larvitar, but for some reason it seemed to be sick. Elm can go over and have a look. Because Professor Elm is a consultant for the Johto Region Pokémon Protection Organization, this similar situation should have been encountered. After receiving such news, everyone immediately set off to that place the next day. After being treated by Professor Elm help, Larvitar was fine, but after that, Ash's first sentence directly stabbed Da Shui. Oh. Brother Yi, you guys have decided where you want to go, so you left early. Why are you still here? Ash asked innocently. Anyway, the final result is that Larvitar asked Ash and the others to bring it back to where it belonged, which was hinted after Ash entered Larvitar's dream. Then Oak Yi and the two of them, after the basic data of the red Gyarados were detected, they could finally go to the place they had decided a long time ago. After Ash took over the task, he immediately expressed that he wanted to take Larvitar out for a walk to get close to nature. Maybe it would be more effective. Then things just came naturally. Where there is Ash, there are rockets. The appearance of the rockets often help Ash solve many problems inexplicably, and they don't know if they did it on purpose. For this kind of strange thing, Oki can only guess that it is because Ash's heart of deficit has aroused the resonance of Larvitar. There is only one villa for rent on the island, which is for those who want peace and quiet. And this statement was quickly confirmed by Ash, because last night it seemed to have entered Larvitar's dream and had a general understanding of Larvitar's experience. But no matter how amazing it is, this Larvitar will not belong to him, so Oki is not even interested in letting the spirit check its qualifications. After Larvitar was treated, although he was fine, he showed no sign of waking up. After discussing with two professors, they both felt that it might be when they were still eggs. Under the help of the rockets, Larvitar opened up his heart knot. Although it is for Ash alone, it is considered a great improvement. And in the matter of flying the rockets, Larvitar's two tricks are also amazing, and the power of the noise is surprisingly large. Hidden power is the same. It is hard to imagine that after using hidden power to a newly born Larvitar, the rocket's machine can be made to fly. After successfully diverting Ash's attention, Oki also shifted his gaze to the Larvitar. Because he has a Pupitar, Oki is quite interested in a Larvitar. Of course, it is not the kind of interest that is subdued but purely interested in this individual. Ask for flowers 0. But yes, I just saw that the friends who subscribed automatically seem to have added another one. Although the total number is still not much, this is a kind of encouragement to the author. Thank you for your support. At the same time, can you give a little reward for the flowers in your hand? For this special case, the two professors don't know what's going on, but it would be nice to be able to confirm Larvitar's symptoms. Since Ash can perceive Larvitar's past experiences, entrusting Larvitar to him to take care of him should solve Larvitar's knots. Therefore, Ash Larvitar's role as nanny was decided after everyone discussed, but Ash is also very happy to do it. I have experienced a lot of unpleasant things, so I am a bit repulsive to the outside world. Because my grandpa is coming here, let's see you by the way, don't talk about it, Larvitar is out, you go and accompany it. Seeing Ash and wanting to ask, Oki patted him on the shoulder and pointed back pointed. After packing up the necessary things, Oak Yi and the two set foot on the flying machine they rented. Because there are quite a lot of islands in the Johto region, Lena decided on a small island. Oki also knew that Sir Lena chose this place mostly for herself. Because in this kind of place, it is actually good to play for a while, but it will be a bit boring after 3 months. However, Sir Lena did not admit this, and said that she also wanted to train her own Pokémon. On an unknown island in the Johto region, Oak Yi and Sir Lena brought their Pokémon here for vacation, training, and a happy life. Nana, I'm going to train first. In the morning, Oki said goodbye to Sir Lena after breakfast, and then came to an unknown valley near the sea on the island and released all his Pokémon. Charizard, Ice Ninetales, Fire Ninetales, Arbok, Jengar, Blastoise, Venusaur, Dragonite, Blissey, Machamp, Persian, Bisharp, Houndoom, Pupitar, Kirlia, Lairon, Golem, Steelix, Pidgeotto, Electivire, Gyarados, Articuno. Looking at the 22 Pokémon in front of him, Oki is quite satisfied with his results. The current Pokémon are basically at the quasi-elite level, and only a few of them are still at the elite level. I believe that after nearly 3 years of training, they will break through to quasi-elite level is no problem. Oki only hopes that a few Pokémon can break through to elite level, although this may be very slim. Same as yesterday, you practice in pairs according to that plan. After coming to this island for a few days, the training of Pokémon has been on the right track. For independent training, Oki only needs to correct it from time to time. Blastoise and Gyarados ran into the sea after Oki announced their respective training. After sneaking as far as possible to the bottom of the sea, the two Pokémon began to practice their unique moves, and they attacked each other from time to time. As for why Oki knew this, it was because Kirlia had already made a great breakthrough in Psychic. You can use Confusion to detect the training situation of two Pokémon on the seabed, and report their situation to Oki, and report the training situation of other Pokémon at the same time. This does not require Oki to run around one by one, so that you can also train your self-ability. As the strongest Articuno in the team, Charizard is completely unmatched without Mega Evolution. So Charizard plus Dragonite, the two top Pokémon in Oak's team, are attacking Articuno together at the moment. Golem and Steelix are carrying two huge Pokémon, practicing each other in the valley, making the most noise. Pupitar and Lairon, two Pokémon whose names contain the letter L, are also practicing against each other not far away, striving to complete the final evolution during this period of time. Especially Pupitar and Dragonite are quasi-god Pokémon. It was okay before the Dragonair evolved, but after the Dragonair evolved, it was like being stimulated and trained like crazy. When Pupitar first started, it was still a bit awkward, but this guy has a bit of a foolish personality, so he directly fell in love with Pupitar. Oki also looked at the contest condition of these two Pokémon and arranged them to fight in a timely manner. Trained? As a Pokémon that also needs to complete the final evolution, Pidgeotto is flying on the sea at the moment. Flying over the sea at high speed from time to time, with its wings flying close to the sea, creating a small water channel. Oak's ultimate hope is that it can fly at the fastest speed flying, and then stir up layers of huge waves, so that other Pokémon can be trained at the same time, but unfortunately it is not possible at this stage. Since Electivire evolved, it has also shown a good talent in melee fighting. Oki also intentionally trained its melee fighting ability, so he arranged Machamp, the main fighting force in the team, to fight against it. From the perspective of fighting, Electivire can't provide help for Machamp's training at all, but don't forget that it also has the attribute of electricity. Before training, Oki also told it to use its advantages as an electricity Pokémon as much as possible. Play it out, judging from the present, it should be done. The two Ninetales are also training together, not to mention that the attributes of the two Pokémon are against each other, so they can get good training in the battle training. As the Fire Ninetales can stimulate their own Psychic, Oki arranges them together, hoping that it can teach the Ice Ninetales. It is best to stimulate it and use it. Even if it can't, it can also be useful to the Ice Ninetales' great benefit. In 1 month and 8 days, Kirlia, who has been helping to monitor the training of Pokémon, completed the evolution. Her appearance like wearing a long skirt gave her a gentle temperament. At the same time, after the evolution, the strength has increased, and I can already monitor all Pokémon directly. I don't have to go in one direction and one direction like in the Kirlia period, and just using Confusion to check the training of Pokémon can no longer make it effective. Oki can only let it monitor while using Confusion or letting itself float or lift big rocks into the air so as to exercise. Because Sir Lena was worried that if Oki helped train Pokémon by himself, it would slow down his progress, so he was training in another place on the island, and Oki just went to see it from time to time and give advice. Of course, the two of them didn't train like this all the time. They still stopped to rest from time to time. After all, combining work and rest would help progress. At the beginning, I was just looking for a place on the island to play with the Pokémon. Later, after a period of training, I took the Pokémon to play wild. Anyway, there are no people here, so I can have a good time. And Oki has always believed that sparring is the fastest way to enhance the strength of Pokémon. Now that these two Pokémon are left, we can only keep them as companions. Fortunately, Persian had Machamp during the Meowth period. After evolution, he showed a very good talent for special attacks. After training, he can indeed be used as a trump card. Time passed day by day, Pokémon were improving unconsciously, and Oki also adjusted the direction and plan of training every once in a while according to their respective conditions, and the effect seemed to be good. Even the few Pokémon that can evolve once also completed evolution during this time. Then there is Jengar, the Pokémon who has always been in the shadow of Oki as a bodyguard. In this deserted place, it is time for a good training day. But what it lacks is the real experience of life and death combat, and Bisharp is very familiar with this aspect. And as an ordinary Pokémon, Persian can learn a lot of tricks, and Oki also let him learn it. When Bisharp helps him increase his experience in life and death battles, he can also help Bisharp familiarize himself with various unique moves. Oki is also very fortunate to have such a Pokémon as his helper, otherwise the progress of training will definitely be slowed down by the Pokémon's injuries. As for Blissey, she was not trained as a fighting Pokémon, so she is still fulfilling her duties. When Kirlia uses confusion to detect a place around her, and when there is a Pokémon that needs healing, she rushes there as fast as she can. During the whole training process, the team doctor was still the most tired, running around all the time. However, Blissey's normal character, the Angel in White, doesn't feel tired or troubled by this kind of thing. On the contrary, he never tires of it. Finally, there are Bisharp and Persian. One of these two Pokémon can't release the ultimate move. Even after spending 2 life orbs, this stubborn disease still hasn't been cured. A Pokémon as a normal type does not need to be specially trained. 1 month after the training started, Pidgeotto successfully evolved into a Bideo during the training. Although the body is huge, the flexibility of flying has risen several levels, and it is extraordinary from the color of its coat, especially the color on its head. The colorful feathers can show its excellence. Of course, Oki also saw it in the battle with Aggron after it evolved. As for why they fought, it was because Aggron, who had a foolish character, had not been teasing him much after his evolution. After evolution, the strength has increased greatly. Isn't it normal to find the field? Fortunately, after 2.5 months of training, Pupitar finally completed the evolution after 1 training session. Bangira, who had successfully evolved, let out a roar of excitement. Their family, known as the Desert Tyrant, had indeed extraordinary strength after evolution. 1 month and 12 days later, after a collision training with Pupitar, Lairon let out a roar of excitement. 3.6 completed his own evolution, and his strength instantly improved several levels. As Arbok and Venusaur, who also have poison type, the two Pokémon were arranged together by Oki. Arbok's experience with poison type's ultimate attack can help Venusaur to enhance its attack power. And Venusaur can stretch out a dozen Vine Whip at most, which can also help Arbok to train the avoidance ability well. In this way, only Pupitar has not completed the evolution. As quasi-god Pokémon, they are the ones who have improved the most in strength after evolution, but at the same time, the difficulty of evolution is more difficult than other Pokémon, which makes Pupitar anxious and can only train harder. Oki didn't intend to stop them and called Sir Lena to watch the battle with other Pokémon. The battle between the two giant beasts was really exciting. Anyway, Oki and the others were very satisfied after watching it. Oki specially arranged for Dark-type Houndoom to be its rival. Ghost Pokémon always likes to play pranks, and Houndoom is the kind of crazy Urha character. 2 Pokémon are playing crazy, but Oki looks at it while they were playing. They fulfilled the tasks assigned by Oki well, so they were left alone, and the policy of stalking them was implemented. About half a month before the opening of the Johto Region Alliance Silver Conference, Oak's Pokémon have all evolved. At the same time, after this period of targeted training, the strength of Pokémon has been greatly improved, at least in the current team. The lowest strength is the quasi-elite level strength. What makes Oki most happy is that there are 2 Pokémon in his team, which have successively broken through to the elite level, namely Charizard and Dragonite. Charizard is Oki's Earl Dervish Pokémon. It has always been the most powerful existence in the team. If it is not lucky to subdue Articuno, then it should be the strongest in the team. It has broken through to the elite level. Oki is not at all feel surprised. It's just that Dragonite, a Pokémon that hasn't evolved for too long, can break through to the elite level, which makes Oki a little unexpected. But after thinking about it, Oki felt that it should have something to do with the Dragon Fang he met in Blackthorn City. Oki vaguely remembered that when the Dragonite in the sanctuary of Blackthorn City went berserk, the Dragon Fang radiated light to restore the Dragonite's sanity. At the same time, when the Dragonair evolved, it seemed that the light also merged into its body. At first I thought I was wrong, but now it seems that I have taken advantage of it. As for Articuno, during this period of time, it reached the level of elite by leaps and bounds. Naturally, there are two Pokémon attacking it in cooperation and got a lot of exercise. But at the same time, Oak 11 was also in this period of time because there is no part behind the Battle of the Beast. The spiritual power in the body has grown a lot, so when the spiritual power is not exhausted, Oki actively inputs it into Articuno's body, and the reason for its growth is in it. Anyway, the strength of Oki's Pokémon team has been fully increased. In the past 2 months, Oki and Selena often took Pokémon to play around, and they were very happy. Just when Key and the others were planning to take a good rest during the last period of time, Professor Oak called. "Grandpa, what's the matter? Why are you looking for me so anxiously this time? Didn't you just call yesterday?" Professor Oak was so anxious to find himself, which made Oki feel very strange. "Because there is one thing that may need your help." Professor Oak's face was a little heavy. "What's the matter?" "What happened?" Professor Oak's expression made Oki a little nervous. "It's like this, when you got 8 badges, didn't you have a special Larvitar in New Bark Town?" Ash said that he entered its dream and said that the Larvitar was stolen by Pokémon poachers. Yes, it was just lost for some reason. After investigation during this period, it is true that Pokémon poachers stole Bangira's Pokémon eggs in MT. Silver. "So is someone looking for trouble?" Oak asked thoughtfully. "That's right, according to the investigation, it was a relatively small team of poachers. Although they were lucky enough to steal Larvitar's Pokémon eggs, they unfortunately lost them during the smuggling process. During this period of time, didn't Ash take Larvitar to MT? Silver, because the news got out that small team planned to snatch Larvitar back. Are you so courageous? Grandpa, you and Professor Elm have already released the news. There is no other organization to take action, how dare they? Because the team is too small, it's a bit of a plan to fight. Because it's almost time for the opening of the Silver Conference, most people in the Johto region are preparing for this matter. Because the Pokémon the poaching group is really small, so I just let you take action so that you can try your training results during this time. Okay, it just so happens that among my Pokémon, the ones that can evolve once have already completed evolution. It's good to go there, and let's go over there to see the wild Benjira. Oki said to this matter, very interested. Okay, then it's decided. I'll pass on the information to you later so you can go and have fun, but be careful. Regarding Professor Oak's behavior of worrying about capsizing in the gutter, Oki directly dispelled his worries with facts. After learning that there were already 3 elite-level Pokémon in Oak's Pokémon team and 1 more elite-level beast Pokémon, Professor Oak felt relieved and quickly passed on the information. After the phone call, Oki told Sir Lena about the matter, and Sir Lena was also eager to meet those people. During this period of time, it was not only Oki's Pokémon who improved in strength, but also Sir Lena's Pokémon. There has been great progress. After the decision was made, Oki called a flying machine to pick them up at this place tomorrow, and then he and Sir Lena began to study the information sent by Professor Oak, and finally directly selected a place and planned to go there over there, sit on the sidelines and wait for the rabbit. Now that they decided to go there and wait there, Oki and Selena had a good night's rest and then ran to the only way for those people to wait. It only took half a day to rush, but it took 2 days to wait for those people to arrive. The waiting time was really boring, but after the group of people arrived, those boring times can be completely ignored. I've been waiting for you for 2 days, do you dare to slow down? When a few people in strange clothes passed by, a voice suddenly came out, which frightened the group of people quite a bit. But when they saw that Oak Yi and the others were only 2 of them, both young people and even a Stephanie, they relaxed. What? 2 brats dare to block the way? That's right, I don't know where the guy who is more than dead and alive comes from. After finding that there seemed to be no threat, the poachers started power trip. At this time, I didn't know that I felt nervous and someone was blocking the way, but I was clamoring here desperately. It really is a small team that is desperate. Right, Nana? Okay, then you pick one. If I find you can handle it later, I'll let another go. After hearing Okia's words, these guys finally felt a little nervous. But Okia's words alone were obviously not enough to make them give up, so they released Pokémon to resist. And the poachers on the opposite side were full of anger when they heard these 2 people picking themselves and others like goods. However, under the direction of the leader's eyes, they put away their anger and quietly returned to the car, intending to get some weapons. Are you planning to resist? Well, let's show you our strength. Nana, do you want to fight? Oki first turned his head and asked Sir Lena, could it be? Who are you waiting for us? Why, after being underestimated by Oak Yi and the others for a while, a guy who seemed to be the leader finally came out of this group of poachers and asked Oak Yi and the others his own questions. Did I give you a face? Wouldn't it be nice to just stay there and let my girlfriend pick rival? Of course, I also want to see the progress of my Pokémon. Sir Lena looked very confident about this. These are the protective weapons they carry on their bodies. For them who poach Pokémon with weapons, modern weapons are their better choice than Pokémon that takes a lot of time and money. And Oki was worried that they would find time to play cold shots, so he disabled their weapons in advance. We are here to teach you a lesson. As for why, what have you done and what are you planning to do, don't you have any clues in your mind? Although Oki didn't look back, he understood the actions of these guys. And when those guys approached the car, a Pokémon appeared and directly blocked them. The only Pokémon that can block several cars at once is Oak Yat Steelix. Really, but maybe we are not fierce enough. That's right, that's it. So many gangs bigger than you don't take action, who gave you the courage? Liang Jingru. As soon as Oak finished speaking, Bisharp, who had been standing beside him, made a move. I saw it passing through the poachers at an extremely fast speed, and then these guys kept dropping all kinds of weapons, but they all became several pieces. Of course, the people blocking the way were Oak Yi and the others who had been waiting for 2 days, but they didn't expect these people to be so reckless and they didn't feel nervous at all. Seeing that Sir Lena was a little unhappy when he said to choose one, Oki quickly added a sentence, which made Sir Lena nod in satisfaction. Steelix is doing well, Bisharp is next. These people are in this business for money, because the scale is small so they don't make much, and if they have money, they don't spend all that money on Pokémon. So even though there are 13 people in this gang, only the guy who just spoke out released 2 Pokémon, and the others only released 1 Pokémon, probably for self-defense. 500. Now you can only fight Pokémon with us. Looking at the bewildered poachers, Oki spread his arms and said innocently, Poachers, you look at me and I stare at you, stunned, completely unaware of what I should do now. Nana, have you chosen rival? Anyway, it's all crooked. If it doesn't work, you can fight slowly first and I'll help you fight. Fight as much as you want and I'll take care of the rest. Seeing that Lena was having a hard time making a choice, Oki proposed a new suggestion. But don't you want to test your own strength? Sir Lena was a little embarrassed because seeing that these guys don't have much fighting power, what if I finish them all? What should Okia do? Oh, that's just a joke. How could these guys let me test my strength? When we finish them off, go to the MT Silver Reserve and fight the wild Benjira over there. I can tell by my progress during this time. Okay then, Braixen, it's up to you. Hearing what Oak Yidu said, Lena no longer insisted. He directly released the little spirit who wanted to fight in the 10th Song Dynasty. And Oki knew it in no time, commanding Bisharp to kick a poacher and his only Pokémon over. And the other poachers and Pokémon would be warned immediately if there was any movement. Come one by one, if you defeat us you can leave, Oki said. But Oki's words didn't make the poachers think at all, they only had one thought at the moment, are you kidding us? After seeing Oki's Pokémon, these people have no idea of winning at all. I know that although there are Pokémon, most of them can only be treated as pets and there is no hope of fighting. Are you ready? Let's start when you're ready, long-tailed red fox, use the fire spin. After the kicked poacher stood up, Sir Lena began to direct the Pokémon to attack. Sandshrew dodge. I don't know if he has no combat experience, but the command of the poacher is very vague and there is no order to dodge at all. After so long of training, the long-tailed red fox has made great progress in strength. After evolution, it became standing on 2 feet, holding a branch picked up from nowhere in its hand, using it as a medium for casting a spell, launching fire spin to surround that Sandshrew. Because trainer's orders were very vague and he had no combat experience, Sandshrew didn't know what to do in the face of the galloping flames. It stands to reason that Sandshrew of the ground type is still very resistant to the ultimate move of the fire type, but after the fire spin, Sandshrew passed out directly. Oki frowned a little when he saw this scene, at least they were the ones who could steal the Pokémon eggs from Bangira. Even if most of them relied on modern weapons, their fighting ability shouldn't be so weak, right? NEXT letter 3005. After the defeated guy put away the Pokéball, he stood aside consciously, and just as Oki finished speaking, Bisharp kicked the other guy over. But the result made Oki and Lena a little disappointed. This guy's Pokémon was a Pineco. After being kicked by Bisharp, it exploded on the spot. Because of the distance, it didn't hurt Braixen, and at the same time, he didn't give Braixen a chance to shoot. Next, Oki now had a very bad premonition. The result was exactly as Oki thought. This guy used a Golbat, and after 2 moves, he was instantly killed. Sir Lena thought that her Braixen was too strong, so she replaced Braixen and released Totodile. But the next few people were basically killed by Totodile's water gun in seconds, which also proved that it was not that Braixen was too strong at all, but these guys were too useless. Oki wondered if these guys were playing tricks, deliberately losing to Sir Lena's easily. Hey, if you keep pretending like this, believe it or not, I will let you all stay here today, Dashui said to the leader. Don't stop, big brother. It's really not that we pretend to be stupid, but that we really don't have the strength. These Pokémon are usually subdued by us to frighten ordinary people, so the strength is a bit insufficient. The leader said to Oki in a tone of crying. Shock ordinary people, I think you are using it to bully ordinary people. With the power of Pokémon, it can still cause a lot of harm to ordinary people, and it can also scare a large part of ordinary people, even if these guys' the strength is very weak. The leader of the poachers laughed along with him, and those subordinates followed suit and looked at Oki with a pitiful look, which really disgusted him. Regardless of how these guys stole the Pokémon eggs, one thing is for sure, these guys don't give face. I'll leave these people to you, I think you know what to do. After handing over all the poachers and their belongings to Jenny and the others, Oak released Charizard and left with Sir Lena. Oak Yi and the two who left here in the Charizard flew directly to the MT Silver Reserve. According to Ash's speed and their nosy habits, these people should have arrived at the reserve by now. So do Yui plan to meet them in the past? Don't look at me like that, okay? You tamed Pokémon to bully ordinary people, so how did you poach Pokémon, all with those modern weapons? That time our target was originally that Benjila's. For some reason, it broke away from the group when it was producing Pokémon eggs. We used this, and this to attack it, but still nothing defeat it, so the next best thing is to steal the Pokémon egg. As if thinking of some terrible picture, this guy shivered when he said it. That's all? Are you kidding me? Can these equipment affect Bangira? Because he has not paid attention to these all the time, Oki did not feel that these things are so powerful at all. By the way, my grandfather, Professor Oak, and Professor Elm from Chengdu have already let the word out. What are you trying to do by not showing face? Hey, big brother, we are also forced to do nothing. All these equipments need money. We have financial problems now, so we want to fight. If it doesn't work, we have to break up. When this guy said this, it looks very sad, but poor people must have something to hate. Oki will not feel sorry for them. After Oki thought about it, he followed him to their car, while his men were left in place by Bisharp. And Sir Lena, who had no interest in fighting them now, also ran to the car. Because it is far away from the town, it took nearly 2 hours after Oki Wangzhou made the phone call before a few helicopters flew over. This was the result of them rushing at full speed after receiving the call. Just come with me to our car and take a look. The leader of the poachers made an inviting gesture. Look, these are the equipment we use to capture Pokémon. After the leader of the poachers opened the compartment, he showed Oki and Sir Lena their weapons and equipment with a little pride. Oak, who finished the phone call, was a little bored and ran away to talk with Sir Lena. As for these poachers, Arbok and Bisharp were watching, and those who dared to move would naturally be punished. There is no chance of poisoning the monsters. And the end of these poachers will not be too comfortable. They will not be like those little gangsters. After committing crimes, they will be locked up for a few days and then released. In this way, Power Trip ignores the warnings of the two professors, and staying in prison until death is the best result. And in the prison, it is estimated that there will be many people who want to please the two professors, and they will give these people a good look. And according to the leader, there are still 3 Dubai members on the side of the reserve. Because the others really couldn't stand these 3 guys, they were sent to the protected area. The name was to let them monitor Bangira and catch them when they found the opportunity. Oki went over this time and planned to send the last 3 guys in together. Don't doubt it, our weapons and equipment have been strengthened many times. Just like this one, after sending it to the target Pokémon, it will automatically trap the Pokémon, and the more struggle it is, the tighter it will be. The strength has also been upgraded several times by us, and it is completely capable of binding many powerful Pokémon. Regarding their equipment, these poachers are still very proud, and even Oki, who has always been afraid, can do it for him. This fight for a while. So you used this to harass Benjila that time, and then took the opportunity to steal the Pokémon eggs. Oki touched the equipment, completely unable to imagine how powerful it is, and at the same time wondered whether these things can support Benjila. Li Testo expressed doubts. It's useless to tell me these things. When you do these things, you should consider the consequences. I'm in a good mood today, so I just leave you to Jenny. Oki took out this before that. He specially bought a communicator and called Jenny, who said that he would come here soon. Because the place where Oak Yi and the others waited was very close to the protected area, they arrived at the protected area not too long ago. Oki is very aware of the road crazy attribute of Ash's group, so if you just go directly to the Pokémon Protection Center here, you won't be able to wait for them. So when they reached the edge of the reserve, Oki and Sir Lena went straight down and walked. At the same time, Oki released Charizard by Dio and Dragonite and let them look for Ash in the air. With 3 Pokémon looking for and soaring in the sky, Oak Yi and the others started to wander around the reserve. Because I don't know whether Ash and the others have come here, so when they are shopping, they try to go to the Pokémon Protection Center as much as possible. If they don't come here, they can at least find a place to live. But fortunately, Ash and the others seem to have arrived here, and Dragonite flew back soon. And tell Oki that Charizard and Dio have arrived there now, and Ash and the others seem to be in trouble. Because Oki's Dragonite is well developed, it is no problem to carry 2 people. So Oki and the others were directly carried by Dragonite and flew to the place where Ash and the others had an accident. Oki also told Dragonite not to worry, try to fly as slow as possible, because this guy has been flying at full speed since he evolved, and the 2 of them can't bear to do this. Although Dragonite deliberately slowed down, they quickly reached Ash's side. Just arrived here, Oki and the others saw the power of the weapons and equipment that the leader of the poachers said. When 343 came here, besides Ash and the others, there were 3 other people and a Bangilla. And the weapons those 3 people took out to deal with Bangira made Oki confirm that they belonged to that team, because that weapon was first introduced by the leader. Judging from Bangira being tied up and unable to move, the quality is indeed very good. But because Oki's Charizard and Dio blocked the way, those 3 guys couldn't escape, and they were in a stalemate with Ash at the moment. And judging from the stalemate for so long without releasing a single Pokémon, these 3 isolated guys are not used only to bully ordinary people. Bangira, I will use you to rescue your kind. Before landing, Oki threw Bangira's Poké Ball out. Oki's Bangira let out an angry roar as soon as it came out, because it saw its own kind being caught by relatively inferior means. If it was defeated in a battle, it might not be so angry. Bangira of Oki walked over step by step, while the 3 guys could only keep backing away. Because the machine they brought was broken by Charizard, now this guy can't even run. When he came to that Bangira, Oki's Bangira first used his sharp claws to release that Bangira. After releasing that Bangira, Okyat's Bangilla walked towards the 3 guys again, and the 3 of them backed up to Charizard before they stopped. As the 3 guys backed away, they felt 2 dangerous eyes staring at them behind them. They turned their heads tremblingly and found that it was Charizard and the others. Their legs were so frightened that their legs went limp for a moment. Okay, leave the 3 of them to Jenny and the others to deal with. Oki stopped the 3 of them with a voice, not because of soft-heartedness. Oki would not sympathize with these people. The main reason is that Ash and the others are present at the moment. They are not used to the law of the jungle, and they cannot accept 3 human beings dying in front of themselves and others. And at this time, there was already the sound of a motorcycle approaching in the distance, and when the motorcycle drove up in front of them, it was discovered that the person who came was the administrator here. What are you guys doing here? Don't you know that the Pokémon protected area is not allowed to enter casually? The visitor sat on the motorcycle and asked, and there was a Croconaw in the back seat. Are you Miss Muto from the Pokémon Reserve? Seeing a strange and beautiful woman, Zyogang's hormones erupted instantly, and he directly stepped forward to hold her hand and began to flirt with her. And when they were chatting, Oki noticed that Ash seemed to be still trapped in the rubber, and Pikachu was poking there with a branch. Seeing that these people completely forgot about the existence of that guy Ash, Oki could only take out his pocket dagger and rescued that kid. At this time, Misty also directly pulled away Zyogang, who was in heat. The administrator named Mutang only had time to check the situation here at this time. When she saw the 3 poachers, the woman immediately exploded. Walking into the depths, Oki and the others saw a group of Bangira living there. Seeing Oki and the others coming, the strongest one among the group of Bangiras stood up and went directly to Bangira mother and son. Of course there is no problem, even if you don't call Officer Jenny, I will call you. At this time, Miss Muto noticed what she had just done and quickly resumed the ladies' contest condition. As they got closer to the depths of the forest, Oki and the others heard the roar of Bangira, and judging from the fact that there were no other types of Pokémon here, they should be approaching the location of the Bangira group. Is it okay? Oki and the others didn't wait for a while. Bangira mother and son signaled that they could follow in, but based on the principle of safety, Muya still asked a 5. Seeing Muto kicking the 3 poachers, Oki and the others had no intention of stopping them. After all, those 3 guys deserved what they deserved, and Muto's strength is not strong and he can't cause any harm. Before seeing the group of Bangiras, 2 Bangiras appeared to block Oki and them. In this case, we can only let Bangira and his son negotiate. If others are allowed to go, it will only lead to conflicts, and then there will be a fight. When Okyat gossips and asks why his Bangilla is out of the group, Okyat's Bangilla tells him that he doesn't know either. There was no other way. Oki could only talk to others about the situation, and Ash, who expressed interest, decided to go there together. So after Oak Yi and the others waited until Jenny handed over the three guys to them, a group of people followed Bangira mother and son to the depths of the reserve. When Oak Yi and the others left, the Bangira group saw them off together, and that scene still looks spectacular. Especially the Larvitar who has lived with Ash for so long, and Ash takes care of it and helps it open up. Now that we have to part, the tears are really unstoppable. Although Ash is also reluctant, but as a person who personally gave away so many Pokémon, this scene is not enough to make him cry. At most, it is a little bit sad. After playing for several hours in the Bangira group, they saw how the wild Bangiras trained their offspring, and it was also a great inspiration for them to train Pokémon themselves. But the sky was getting dark, so they could only leave here in order not to spend the night in the wild, heading for the Pokémon Protection Center here, and they had to go to Silver Town tomorrow. Then you may be thinking too much. The members of your poaching group have been wiped out. When you go to prison, I believe you can join them. Oki told them a very unfortunate incident with a devilish smile on his face. News, and then these three guys became loveless. HMPH, you wait. The people above us will kill us and help us retaliate, you wait. Seeing that Muto was no longer attacking them, the leader of the three guys began to show his presence. Is it the three of you who have been doing activities here? During this period of time, I have been running around because of you. Do you know that I am very tired? Seeing Bangira's mother handing Larvitar to that Bangira, Oak Yi and the others didn't disturb them, just watched quietly there. After a long while, the Bangira turned to Oak Yi and the others, especially looking at Oki's Bangilla a few times. Okay, Miss Muto, I've already notified Officer Jenny. Is it okay to let them deal with these three people? Oki saw the scene was really boring, so he stopped immediately. Okay, I know you are very excited, but if you want to have a chance after the battle, let Blissey help you heal first. Looking at her own Bangira, she was so excited that Blissey couldn't help it heal, because Muyi can only comfort this huge child. After getting an affirmative answer, Oak Yi and the others followed Bangira mother and son to the inside, and this time the two Bangiras did not stop them. While waiting for Officer Jenny and the others, Oak Yi got a message from his Bangilla. It seemed that there was a group of Bangilla here, and that Bangilla was about to go there now. Oki's Bangilla yelled at the leader of Bangira full of fighting spirit, and the leader nodded. But in the end, it was another strong Bangira that came out to fight Oki Bangilla. And because the opponent was a wild Pokémon, Oki couldn't command it loudly, so they let them fight over there. The final result was that Oki's Bangira lost, but it was very excited. After leaving the reserve, Oak Yi and the others and Ash set off for Silver Town, where the Silver Conference is located. I don't know if it's because of Ash, Oak Yi and the others rushed to the Silver venue, but here they encountered the torch event that Ash and the others were supposed to encounter. After chatting for a while, Oak Yi and the others received a task from an NPC to help them tame or deal with a troublesome Nura. And when I just came in, there were two trainers coming down from the top, and they were still saying something in their mouths. Such a strong Nula, we are going to participate in the Silver Conference. What if the Pokémon is injured? The man and the woman were talking to themselves over there, embarrassing Oak Yi and the others who were watching. Because for a person who can't even handle a wild Nura, is there any difference between participating in the Silver Conference and not participating? There is no way. The warm-hearted Ash immediately took over the task. And Oki also wanted to see what was so special about Nira who could take the mountain as king and tamed a Machop and a Machop. But there is another person who went up together, that is Yi Yue from Hone. When this guy came out, he was carrying a Houndoom, and his strength seemed to be okay. And when he came out, he was quite polite, so Oak Yi and the others agreed to go up with him. The Nula, the quick-tempered Ash, when he saw that he was approaching the top, was very happy and ran up. But just when he stepped up, he was hit by a black shadow. Fortunately, the black shadow was not malicious. Ash was just frightened, and when he fell backwards, he was caught by Oak Yi and the others behind him, and he was not affected. What hurt, when Oak Yi and the others looked forward, they found a Neela was looking at them very power trip. The murderer just now was obviously this guy Tilda. This Neela is very good, are you interested? As a latecomer, although he really wanted to subdue this guy, Yi Yue politely asked Demu Yi and the others first. Everyone looked at each other and found that except for Ash, no one was interested. And Yi Yue saw that Ash was interested and politely gave him the priority of subduing him to watch. Pikachu, let's go. Ash, who has been in arrears with his EQ, was very excited when he saw Yi Yue forbearance, and he was ready to send Pikachu to fight. Just when Pikachu stepped forward with short legs, two muscular men appeared in front of Nira, who were his subordinates that he didn't know when to subdue. There are two Pokémon in the front, obviously don't defeat them, and Nira behind doesn't have to think about it. Houndoom, Phanpy. The two people who wanted to tame this Nura stepped forward without hesitation. As wild Pokémon, Machoke and Machop have good combat experience. But there is no way, after a while of fighting, they were directly knocked down the mountain by two Pokémon. Pokémon's physique is not something that can be injured in this way, and as fighting Pokémon, they are even more rough-skinned and thick-skinned. Oak Yi and the others are not worried about what will happen to these two guys at all. After the two subordinates were defeated, Niura, as the boss and the Pokémon to be subdued, naturally couldn't shrink back and stood in front of Ash, waving his sharp claws that were shining with cold light, as if I wanted to beat two of them. District Pikachu, it's your turn now, Thunderbolt. As before, Ash made the first move, and Pikachu as his most trusted partner was naturally the best choice. The speed of this Niura was unexpectedly fast. It directly turned into a black shadow, not only dodged Pikachu's attack, but also rushed directly in front of it, and knocked it down with a sharp claw attack. The scene was very embarrassing for a time. Pikachu, who had been placed with high expectations, was unexpectedly killed. Oki saw this scene and also said that MMP didn't know if it should be said. Skin God is such a special existence. When he is strong, he can challenge the beasts, but when he is weak, he can beat the Earl Dervish Pokémon. This time, the rival is Niula. His strength is not bad, and he can barely accept it. Pikachu, how are you? Yue, I'll leave Niula to you. Ash screamed and ran to Pikachu to check its condition. It seemed that there was nothing wrong with it. Even Oak wanted to release Blissey to help it take a look. Both were rejected by Ash. After Ash failed, it was Yue's turn to play. I don't know if it's because of seeing what happened to Ash, Yue didn't use the Houndoom around him, but directly released his Earl Dervish Pokémon. Blaziken, no matter what, the torch was finally taken out, and Oak Yi and the others also went to the conference hall. After arriving here, they still need to go there to register. Moreover, accommodation can only be arranged after registration. Although Oak Yi and Lena do not intend to live in the dormitory prepared here, they still asked the staff here to arrange day rooms for them. It was really not easy to meet the powerful rival in the first exam. After all, there are many people from colleges who are no different from rookies. The game time and rival of the election exam will be directly posted on the internet at night, and Oak Yi and the others will go back to their rooms and wait. Just check it when the time comes. After careful consideration, Oki decided to let Houndoom, who originally belonged to the Johto region, play. Now it is quasi-elite intermediate. I believe there will be no problem. And if you lose in this way, then just go back and forget it. Moreover, in each of these large-scale competitions, there will be conscious arrangements for the candidates for the battle to prevent those who are clearly capable from colliding with each other, and even the preliminaries alliance will not be able to enter. Ask for flowers. Oki, who was bored after the game, took Sir Lena for a walk here. It was very unexpected that I saw all the games of several people I knew. Ash, Gary, and Yue, there is no problem with their strength in this kind of game. They all successfully defeated rival, only Ash's first game was a little bit twists and turns. The person in charge thanked them for a while, and after seeing their eyes he introduced Machoke and the others to them. As expected, there is no rival that is too strong. It seems that the order of this competition should be arranged after Alliance checked the performance of the gym challenge, and it also prevented the collision of the two strong players in the preliminaries to the greatest extent. After playing a few games, Oki's game was completely over, and he just had to wait for the conference to announce the candidates for the Alliance preliminaries. Early the next morning, Oki and Sir Lena rushed to the venue, because Oki's game was in the first few games, so he had to go there and wait. Maybe it was because he came up with a strange move, or maybe he was confident in his own strength. The Pokémon Yue used in the selection meeting was not his Earl Dervish Pokémon, but a Kecleon. The strength is hard to see, after all there is no stronger rival. But its fighting style that fully displayed its own characteristics made Oki start to look forward to the battle with Yue. Thank you for your help. The ceremony of lighting the torch can continue. Oh, Machoke and Machop have been taken in by us, and we will be the administrators who will take care of us from now on. Originally, Oki wanted to send a powerful Pokémon to play these one-on-one matches like the Kanto Alliance, so as to prevent the ship from capsizing in the gutter. But after taking a look at his Pokémon, he realized that the lowest strength of his Pokémon is the low-level Quasi-Elite. As someone who has challenged several Alliance competitions, Yue is still very strong. Blaziken, the most Earl Dervish Pokémon, even has the strength of a Quasi-Elite advanced level, and it didn't take much effort to knock Niura unconscious. As for Niula, who was already dizzy after being taken in by the Pokéball, the indicator light didn't flicker much, and it directly showed that she was taken in. Seeing Niula being subdued, the first person to go up to congratulate him was Ash, who had just failed to subdue him. This guy is very simple and simple. In such a short time, he already regarded Yue as his friend. Even if he failed to subdue it, he would be very happy if his friend succeeded in subduing it. Misty, here you go. We don't live here, so you can stay here with us. Sir Lena turned around and gave Misty the room key directly, so she didn't have to share a room with Ash and the others. After all, she wasn't a contestant, there is no room. P.S. I know that book lovers don't like the plot of this kind of competition very much. The data from the background also proves this. It seems that many book lovers skip it directly. Lao Yin will try not to be too wordy in this kind of place. The first thing that Johto Region Alliance started here was not the preliminaries, but a sort of selection meeting, which means to select candidates who are qualified to participate in the Silver Conference based on the performance of the Gymnasium Challenge. This thing Oak Yi is completely unconcerned, not to mention his performance in the Gymnasium Challenge. If he wins all the selection exams, he can already be sure to enter the Preliminaries Alliance. And without Neela and Machoke's obstruction, the sacred fire placed in the Ancestral Hall could be let out. The person in charge who knew the news soon came up with the torch. It has been delayed for so long, so naturally there is no waiting. And when they came up, Neera's subordinates Machoke and Machop also came up together. Continue to participate in the game. Shortly after the selection meeting, the conference announced the candidates for the Preliminaries Alliance. Not surprisingly, Oak Yi and the others are all on top. After the selection meeting, there will be the Preliminaries of the Alliance. The Preliminaries of the Alliance will be held in 4 stadiums, and it will take 4 days. Every day, there will be 3 battles in each stadium. There are 48 matches in total. The final 16 people will enter the final tournament. Although there were some scoring rules over there, Oki didn't listen to any of them, because as long as they win all the games, they will definitely be able to enter the final tournament. And after entering the Preliminaries Alliance, the number of Pokémon used for battle has been increased to 3, so Oki is not worried about this at all. The preliminaries of the Alliance match are held for 4 days, but as long as they win all the games in their group, they only need to play 2 games, so Oki's mentality is really good. Because there was no competition on the first day, Oki took Sir Lena to play around in Silver Town. The last time he came was when Gary was injured, and he was not in the mood to play at all. After a day of fun, Oki and the others returned to the hotel and began to check tomorrow's rival information on the computer. Okay, it's decided. Tomorrow's Zyoging will be 2 Ninetales and Golem will be added. After a rough look at rivals' information, Mew Mui decided on tomorrow's Pokémon. Have you decided which ones? Is the other party's Pokémon a combination of grass, dragon, and electric? Lena asked after thinking for a while. No, Rival's Pokémon has the most fire-type, ice-type, and rock-type, and his combination should be the same tomorrow. So 11, after you checked this you didn't have the idea of preparing to counter Pokémon at all. Then why did you check this? Arguing, Sir Lena said, rolling her eyes. For Sir Lena's statement, Oki did not deny it at all, because he just wanted to try what would happen if he used the same Pokémon with Rival. And after reading Rival's information, Oki knows that Rival is not too strong at all. If you use a Pokémon of the Restraint type, what should you do if you end up being abused? Even if it is Rival, you should think about it for Rival. The next morning, after recuperating, Oki came to the competition venue very early. Perhaps it was because of his performance at the selection meeting that Oki gained fans. Among the crowds of audience, Oki actually saw someone pull up a banner to cheer for him. This feeling is not very novel. After the referee Rival is in place, the game officially begins. Because the first attack order is selected by computer before the battle, you have to wait for the result of the drawing, and the first attack in this game is Rivals. Let's go Magcargo. The player who strikes first must also release Pokémon first, which can be regarded as taking care of Rival and ensuring fairness as much as possible. Ninetales, you go first. Since Oki decided to confront the Fire-type Magcargo, he could only release the Fire-type Ninetales. Very good Ninetales, but I won't be polite. Magcargo used the smoke. Rival used the power of the first attack on the unique move of the smoke, and he should be familiar with this fighting method. There is a set, but my Ninetales are different. Ninetales Find It Out or Berg Tail. Although everyone knows that some Ninetales can use Psychic, but because very few Ninetales can do it, Rival really didn't react much to this. After the initial induction, Ninetales rushed directly into the smoke. The 9 tails were put to good use, each parting and shooting at Magcargo with Orberg Luster. In the past, the combat method of assist smoke gave Magcargo a lot of advantages, and the rival chosen by its owner was not a super power system that could easily find it. Hit straight, Magcargo double team. After hearing Magcargo's scream, Oki's rival became a little anxious because he couldn't see what was going on inside, so he had to find a way to avoid it. Just like before, hiding is useless. Ninetales Find Out Strange Light. After probing for a while, Ninetales directly cast a strange light at one of the Magcargos. After using double team just now, Magcargo, which avoided Ninetales' attack, was attacked again. Although the strange light is not the ultimate technique of direct attack, but after being affected by the strange light, Magcargo, who entered the chaotic contest condition, used his little spiritual power to attack continuously, and the target was only an open space, which quickly consumed the Guangling calendar. Doctor went to the combat calendar. Come back, Magcargo. Next is you, Onyx. After Okia's rival took back the Magcargo, the second Pokémon released was Onyx, which seemed to be very strong in terms of size. In that case, come back, Ninetales. Come on, Golem. Oki released the Pokémon that he hadn't used to fight much since he tamed it. Onyx, charge and attack. Because one Pokémon lost the ability to fight, rival seemed a little anxious. When commanding the Pokémon, his voice unconsciously amplified a lot. Next, use knocking. The enemy's size is not small and his strength is believed to be not small either. But you are stronger than me, and many of Okia's golems are also vegetarian, and their body size is also much larger than ordinary golems of the same kind, so they will not lose in strength. After Onyx roared, he rushed directly to Golem, pointing the horns of his head at it. Unfortunately, Golem, who is also a rock Pokémon, is not only outstanding in strength, but also in physical hardness. Although Ninetales avoided the freezing light, blowing snow's trick has exposed Ninetales' attribute. Moreover, Oki was obviously relieved to see rival, and he probably had some ideas about the next battle. Alright, Golem, use Body Slam. As Onyx's trainer, rival should have experienced many battles, and he also expected such a move. So when Golem jumped up to use Earthquake, Onyx broke out of the ground directly and pushed Golem directly into the sky. I always feel the same as a certain sister before those sausage mouths. Golem, your battle is over, it's time for you, Ninetales. At the moment when Oki called out Ninetales, both rival and the audience subconsciously thought it was the fire Ninetales, but what appeared in front of them was indeed a Ninetales with a snow-white appearance and a cold air all over its body. Ninetales' agility rushes over. Although there was coaching of the hot Ninetales during this period, Psychic was not so easily aroused. Facing Jinx's confusion trick, it was impossible to resist hard, so we could only try to dodge with speed. I don't know if it's an illusion, but Oki always felt that when rival shouted "Lovely Kiss," the expression on his face was a bit strange, and he didn't know if it was because two Pokémon lost their fighting ability one after another, which stimulated him. But Lovely Kiss is a really good move. When Ninetales was kissed, he let out a scream. Ninetales, hold on, just use the Orberg tail like this. Knowing that Ninetales is uncomfortable, Okiat can only encourage it to persevere. Although there is no palm technique that falls from the sky with one move in this world, the power of assist inertia and gravity's body slam is very powerful when falling from a high altitude. At the moment Onyx was hit, Oki was even worried that he would be killed directly, because the place where the body slam attacked was Onyx's head, which is a relatively weak point. Onyx dig. Taking advantage of this moment, rival directly used the dig ultimate move, which can be regarded as reducing the damage caused by knocking as much as possible. Earthquake, when facing Dig's ultimate, the best response is definitely Earthquake's ultimate. Facing the charging Onyx, Golem grabbed it with both hands as it approached. Although it was slid for a long distance by Onyx, it finally persisted. And when Onyx's successor was weak, he directly knocked him down to the ground, and hearing Onyx's miserable growl, he knew that the power was not small. Okay, it's you in the end, come out, Jinx. After losing two Pokémon in succession, Okia's rival calmed down by taking a deep breath and at the same time released his last Pokémon. Ninetales, get out of the way, Blizzard. In fact, at this point in the game, Oki also felt that he seemed to be a little bored this time. Well, why did he have to fight with the same Pokémon? Continue to fight. Lovely Kiss. Ninetales was still not fast enough and was caught directly by confusion in the end, and rival was about to use a more skillful skill. However, the conference should have considered this situation. Although the preparatory field is similar to the regular field, it is relatively softer. Onyx's head was directly pressed into the field. Although he lost his ability to fight, there was no danger of his life. Ninetales' 9 tails turned into soft ribbons, stretched and entangled Jinx directly, and at the same time, the extra tails directly radiated the anger of being kissed just now, hitting Jinx hard. Perhaps the anger really stimulated the potential of Ninetales. Several tails kept waving, and before Oki and rival could react, Jinx was beaten and lost his fighting ability. Jinx Blizzard fought back and used confusion at the same time. This Jinx is the most powerful of the 3 Pokémon in rival, although I don't know if it is trump card, but it is undoubtedly the main force. While using Blizzard, it can also use confusion. This Ninetales, never mind Jinx Freeze Ray. although from the cold air emitted by Ninetales, Rival guessed that Okia's Ninetales was an Ice-type Pokémon. However, the impression of Ninetales for a long time made Rival decide to use the freezing light to highlight the 840. Alliance's first match in the preliminaries was unexpectedly finished, and Okia's next match is tomorrow, so I have to go back today and check slowly for Rival's information. I rely on. The battle ended too quickly and Okia's Rival couldn't help but swear, but the reality is cruel. The result now is that Okia won the game. If Rival wants to continue fighting, they must win the battle with another member of the group. Yi, congratulations. Just after leaving the stage, Lena greeted her directly and sent her congratulations. Zai Nana, with my strength, isn't it normal to win this battle? After winning the game, Oki became more embarrassing. Okay, I know you can win. As if thinking of something, Lena added, but I seem to see Gary just now, he should also come to see your game. Unexpectedly, Oki didn't respond after listening to it, as if he had known Gary would come to see him play. After the Silver Conference, that guy Gary is going to chase his dream. Now he should put all his energy into the match against Ash, and these two guys have a lot of promises. What agreements? Haven't the two of them always been enemies? Hearing the word agreement, Lena's gossip soul was ignited. Let me tell you, the agreement between the two of them was made with my help. It was just. Gossip belongs to gossip. On the second day of the game, Oki decided to imitate the protagonist in the novel before time travel and try to play 10 Pokémon to finish the game. This time Rival is also a passerby. When Oki checked his profile last night, he knew that he didn't have any more powerful Pokémon. For some reason, it's really hard to meet a practical trainer in the current Alliance competition. The Pokémon that Oki intends to fight against 3 today is Bangira. As the quasi-god Pokémon here, he should be more popular. In the first Rival, Dodrio was used. To be honest, Breeders is not bad, and its strength has reached the level of Elite and Advanced. Triangle Attack, Drill Filling Attack, and other unique tricks are also very good. Unfortunately, before the evolution, Oki deliberately trained its defense power. After the evolution, the defense power is very good. Faced with Dodrio's attack, Bangira was completely indifferent. When Dodrio rushed over, he directly grabbed the 3 heads together. Then there is a close-range destructive Deathlight, which directly resolves the battle. After seeing his own Dodrio being dealt with neatly, Rival didn't feel anxious or anything, and directly released the second Pokémon. Victreebel. This Victreebel is not like the one of James. Its eyes are very sharp, and there is no feeling of fear in the face of Bangira, who overwhelms him in terms of momentum. Under the command of Trainer, this Victreebel releases an intoxicating sweet breath. It should be from the collision just now that he learned of Bangira's amazing defensive power, and planned to use the special trick of sweet breath to find a breakthrough point. Faced with this kind of trick, Oki obviously wouldn't sit still and let Bangira use Sandstorm directly, which not only shattered Rival's intention, but also caused a lot of damage to Victreebel. But then Rival let Victreebel use Vine Whip, and at the same time let the powder of Stun Spore and Sleeping Powder directly stain the end of Vine Whip, and when it hit Bangira, these powders exploded around Bangira at close range. Fortunately, Oki himself had trained Venusaur's similar tricks. Although it was a bit unexpected, he let Bangira blow them away, and then directly grabbed Victreebel Vine Whip when he swung it again and pulled it in front of him. Remember, Fire Punch solved the fight. Rival, who lost 2 games, didn't have any special expressions on his face, let alone strength. At least in terms of mental quality, he was pretty good. It should be a coincidence that his third Pokémon uses Scissor, but the speed-type attack method is also just right. Then from the ensuing battle, the speed of this Scissor is also very good, and while the attack speed is extremely fast, the strength is not too small, and it also caused a certain amount of damage to Bangira. Seeing that Rival's combat method is effective, he will naturally not give up this method. But just as he ordered Scissor to use agility and continue to attack Bangira. Bangira first took a few blunt blows under Oki's command, and then found an opportunity to directly show fear in the predicted direction. Scissor, who was caught off guard, stopped suddenly, although he reacted quickly and planned to continue attack. But the impact of this time is very big. It is already a lost game. Just when Scissor reacted and was about to speed up and continue to attack, Bangira's sharp claws hit it directly, and it hit the air. Scissor, a Pokémon, evolved from Scyther carrying a metal coat, and the quality of the metal coat also determines whether it can continue to fly after evolution. Although you can evolve through your own efforts without using a metal jacket, just like Onyx evolves into Steelix, there are not many trainers who can wait. And Okia's Rival is obviously not the kind that can wait. After all, the strength of Scissor after evolution has not improved a little. From Rival's attire, Oki can be sure that he is not very rich. And from the fact that the scissor has never been able to fly to attack, it can be seen that the metal coat it uses is definitely not high-end. Facing Scissor, who was beaten to the sky and had limited mobility, Oki directly asked Bangira to use the destructive Deathlight. Although Rival asked Scissor to use Sword Dance, trying to evade with the power of rotation or dodge a little to avoid the vital points. But the reality is cruel. Bangira's Dead Light directly hit it and lost its fighting ability. The opponent's 3 Pokémon have lost their ability to fight, and Okia's Preliminaries Alliance has since come to an end. Because after the Preliminaries Alliance is over, in order for the contestants to have enough time to adjust their contest conditions and recover their Pokémon, there is 1 day of rest. In other words, after Oki finished the Preliminaries of Alliance, having won both games, he has already confirmed his qualification to enter the final tournament, and he will have 2 days to rest in the next 2 days. Very good match, you are really strong, I will target you, hope you can get the championship, letter 3005. After the fight, Oki's rival met him on the sidelines. Said so much, it's a very novel feeling. Although Oki has always been called a genius by everyone after time travel, but when someone walks up to him and tells him that he will fight for his goal in the future, the feeling is really different. After talking to Sir Lena, she was called a fuss by Sir Lena. You don't know that you have just started traveling for 2 years, and your strength has reached such a level that some people can't reach in a lifetime. How much it is to challenge the Alliance twice, win the championship once, and charge towards the championship once again. Does it make people envy and hate? Sir Lena said, rolling her eyes. After listening to see Lena's words, Oki, who thought about it for a while, realized that he had reached such a height without knowing it. It seems that I have been comparing myself with the protagonists in the novels I read before, but novels are novels after all, and my current achievements are already the highest at this stage. With the support of family resources, Ling Help finds high-quality Pokémon by himself, plus the Pokémon information he has learned in the past and present, and the inheritance of the time traveler inexplicably obtained in this life. With the help of these aspects, it took Oki 2 years to reach the current height. But even though he realized that his thinking was wrong, facing his girlfriend's hygienic ball, Oki didn't intend to just admit cowardly and had to cover up this problem no matter what. De nuevo, did you say anything else? I am the man who subdued the beast. Oak said with ease, but before he had played for a while, Oki was frightened by Lena, because she said, so what? A man who subdued the beast, in the end, he was not subdued by me. Oki was stunned by C. Lena's words, but when he didn't see it, C. Lena's face turned red into an apple. Although after getting along for a long time, Sir Lena is not as shy as she was at the beginning, but this is the first time she has said such amazing words. I'm speechless, you are the master. Facing the suddenly domineering Sir Lena, Oki can only bow his head and surrender. It's good to know. Facing her boyfriend's trickery, Sir Lena also said cooperatively. Anyway, there are only the 2 of them in the room, so it doesn't matter how they play. The Alliance battle in the preliminaries passed quickly. Although Oak Yi and the others spent most of their time playing in the next 2 days, they still went to several stadiums to watch some of the trainer games that were getting more and more popular. I didn't watch the whole thing, but a trainer named John caught Oak's attention, and I remembered that he seemed to be the champion in the original animation. 2 days passed quickly, and the 16 people who entered the final tournament were also selected, and the next competition, rival, and order were also directly posted. There is nothing special about the first and second rivals of Oki, but if there is no accident in the third rival, it will be one of Ash, Gary, and Yi Yue. The venue for the final tournament is the main venue of the Silver Conference, where all the battles will be held because Ash and Gary's battle is relatively high in the third game of the final tournament. Oki also visited Gary the day before the competition. How is it? If there is no accident, you will do what you have always wanted to do after the Silver Conference, right? In Gary's room, Oak asked, leaning against the door frame. That's right, but before that, I have to settle my personal grievances with Ash. Gary, who was lying on the bed, clenched his fists when talking about the grievances with Ash as if he was very excited. Really? Then will you go all out? Oki's words made Gary silent because he hadn't thought about this question yet. Because of Oki's intervention, Gary's strength has grown rapidly. Among other things, Quasi-God Pokémon and Mega Evolution Stones are not in the original book. If the current Gary really goes all out, I believe that Guy Ash is really not rival, and it is even more impossible to make a comeback with a Charizard. Okay, take your time to think about it. Seeing that Gary has been silent, Oki knew that this guy was also worried about this matter, so he left directly so that he could think about this matter carefully. On the second day, Oki and the others arrived at the venue early, and they have been watching since the first 277 match. The first game was a match between 2 guys who didn't know each other. The trainer who was able to play up to this point was not comparable to the alliance in the preliminaries in terms of strength. The second battle was between Yi Yue and a trainer he didn't know. Yi Yue's first Pokémon was Kecleon. With his strange fighting style, he caught rival by surprise and solved it without even releasing his trump card Blaziken. Fighting. The third battle was between Ash and Gary. Ash took it very seriously and called back all his veterans. After some battles, Charizard's strong finisher won the competition. But Oki shook his head straight after watching the game because Gary didn't try his best at all. The Larvitar that I gave him was heavily trained by him. Although the training was stopped for a period of time because of the family under the tree, the Larvitar that was brought back and focused on training was even more advanced than his own. And this guy doesn't even use the Mega Stone that Professor Oak gave him, he just fights with the Pokémon he trained. In any case, this is his choice. Oki, as an older brother, can only support him. And because their battle ended relatively quickly, Oki's match was also brought forward to today. After the final tournament, there are only 6 Pokémon used. In this case, Oki has a bigger advantage. All the members are at least quasi-elite, and he likes this kind of battle with a lot of Pokémon. The strength of rival in the first game is still very strong, and the first Pokémon is a Usangia Pokémon. It should be his Earl Dervish Pokémon because the strength has reached the quasi-elite intermediate level. Judging from his age, the gap between him and Oki is not very big, and it is not easy to have this kind of strength. Because rival is the first to attack, they release Pokémon first, and Oki decided to use the most convenient and comfortable way to solve the battle after the first match of alliance in the preliminaries. So after seeing that his first Pokémon was Feraligatr, he directly released Electivire to fight. At this stage, the evolution of Electabuzz has not been spread, and Electivire rarely appears in the eyes of the public. So when Oki released Electivire, it even caused a burst of exclamation in the field. And it wasn't until the narrator asked Professor Oak to introduce this Pokémon that Oki didn't know that his grandfather had arrived here. No matter what Professor Oak explains, how curious the audience is about this relatively rare Pokémon at this stage, the battle between Oki and rival will not stop because of these. Feraligatr, Hydro Pump, Rush to Fear Yan, and then Crunch. Although rival attribute completely defeated his own Pokémon, Oki's rival still believed in his Earl Dervish Pokémon and shouted a series of commands directly. Electivire, Dodge, Hydro Pump, Rush to Thunder Punch. Knowing that rival would not fight himself recklessly with long-range attacks, Oki directly chose melee fighting. After training for this period of time, his Electivire believed in this I won't lose either. Hydro Pump was directly dodged by Electivire, and at the same time the two Pokémon rushed towards each other. Just when Feraligatr was about to approach and use the Fear Face, Electivire directly gave it with Thunder Punch. Remember the uppercut, so the Fear Yan can only do it for the sky to see. And because the face being hit is already facing soaring in the sky, Feraligatr's Crunch attack can only be nullified. And Oki's Pokémon under his coaching, the attack will never stop immediately. Electivire's other free hand hit Feraligatr directly in the stomach. Then it launched attacks continuously at an extremely fast speed. As the Earl Dervish Pokémon of rival, Feraligatr is not only powerful, but also has rich combat experience. The moment Feraligatr was hit in the stomach by the Electivire, he was already preparing his claw attack. After being attacked, BBCA by Electivire a few times at an extremely fast speed, the sharp claw swung towards Electivire's face with an attitude of exchanging injury for injury. Electivire retreat Thunder. With an absolute advantage, Oki didn't plan to hit so hard, and after directing Electivire to avoid the claw attack, he launched Thunder's trick. Feraligatr Dig avoid it. As a Water-type Pokémon, there are really not many unique moves against Thunder, so Rival directly directs Feraligatr Dig to avoid the attack. Magnitude. As a heavyweight Pokémon, Electivire has learned a trick against Dig. Feraligatr had no choice but to appear because he wanted to attack the Electivire first, so he drilled out from where the Electivire was standing and launched a Crunch attack on it. But Electivire was waiting for it, took a step back and hit it with a Thunder Punch. Good chance Electivire hold it Thunderbolt. After being escaped just now, this time Oki directly directed Electivire to hug Feraligatr, and then the damage caused by the Thunderbolt attack was really not small, even for a quasi-elite intermediate Feraligatr, also directly lost the ability to fight. For a trainer who has reached this level, not changing his face is already a standard skill. Although Earl Dervish Pokémon was dealt with, Oki's rival did not panic. After taking back Feraligatr, another powerful Pokémon, Ursaring was released. The strength of this Ursaring is also very strong. After a fierce battle, Electivire consumed a lot of energy and finally died together with Zhang Nao Kang Kang. Then Oki's rival released Gyarados, Steelix, Dunnyong, and Clark Ross. only power-type Pokémon. Oki exchanged the Pokémon Gardevoir, Bisharp, and Persian to defeat the Pokémon of rival, and finally ended the 16-8 tiebreaker tournament with one Pokémon losing its fighting ability. After the game, Oki left the venue and saw Professor Oak and the others who were waiting for him. Although Gary lost the game, he wasn't depressed at all. Instead, he seemed in a good mood. Grandpa, Aunt Delia, and everyone are here. Today's game was over, and after a while of pleasantries, everyone set off for the hotel here, and it was also a celebration for the two people who were close to the top 8. On the way, Oki deliberately pulled Gary to walk behind, and the other people who were chatting did not notice this. Gary, why do you feel that you are in a good mood? The water is so serious. You are not afraid that Ash will find out and trouble you in the future. It's okay as long as you don't tell me. With the IQ and EQ of Ash's family, I will never think of these things in this life. Facing Oki's question, Gary didn't care at all. Because the truth is the same as what he said, I'm speechless. Well, you can go and pursue your dreams. As an older brother, I can take back the champions of various alliances, which can be regarded as helping you make up for your regrets. Okay, so we can count as a civil and a military. Ha 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 ha, the judgment they gave us when we were young was that I was in charge of the text, and you were in charge of the fighting part. Thinking about it now, it's quite surprising. Yeah, we all thought that when we were youngs. Grandpa, when did you start listening? The sudden appearance of the voice startled the two brothers, but they were a little speechless when they heard the voice of Professor Oak. Ha ha ha, from the time you talked about one piece of paper and one weapon, I can also think of what you talked about before. As a grandfather, Professor Oak still knows these things very well. Knowing that his performance could not be hidden from Professor Oak, Gary was not surprised, but the three of them avoided this topic on purpose. As for the discussion on the topic of one piece of paper, one piece of martial arts, even the people who were chatting in front joined in unknowingly. And the embarrassing things about Oak Yi and the others when they were young were exposed by Professor Oak from time to time, which caused everyone to burst into laughter. But they were all acquaintances and friends. Oki and the others didn't mind these things very much, and the meal was unknowingly celebrated. The banquet turned into an ordinary dinner, but the atmosphere was better, and everyone didn't care about it. After Gary lost to Ash in the Silver Conference Final Tournament, the first game of the 8-for-4 match on the second day was between Ash and Yi Yue after a hard fight. Although Ash was constantly imagining during the battle, his Pokémon was also encouraged by him, and his strength directly exploded. In fact, Ash's Pokémon often surprises him, just like in the game just now. Pikachu used his short legs to grab Kecleon's tongue directly turning the disadvantaged Kecleon into victory. There are actually many other situations like this, and Ash and his Pokémon are good at creating such miracles. It's a pity that when they met Yi Yue this time, even though Pikachu and the others tried their best, they were still defeated by Yi Yue's Blaziken, and Ash's Silver Conference came to an end. Not long after Ash's match, it was Oki's match. The rival they met this time also had no bright spots. Although his strength is already very good for his age, he is still a little bit lost in the face of Oki, even because the Pokémon sent by Oki this time is relatively restrained by his Pokémon, and he was directly beaten by Oki to a 6-0. At the beginning of the game, Oki's rival released an Alakazam, and the superpower Pokémon was considered very difficult to deal with. It's a pity that the Pokémon sent by Oak is Jengar, who released all kinds of weird tricks and disappeared from time to time, causing a lot of trouble for Alakazam, and finally was taken away by Jengar in a Dark Knight Curse, the last trace of physical strength. Rival's second Pokémon is Houndoom, but for Oki, who owns Houndoom, it's really nothing. Even when Attribute is restrained, Oki commanded Jengar to stun him. However, Jengar's physical and spiritual powers are also exhausted, and he can no longer bear to fight again. Rival noticed this, and the third Pokémon was Mismagius, who was also a ghost type, and cast Black Eyes on Jengar as soon as he came out. But when Oki took out Mismagius, he had already pulled out the Pokéball and prepared to take Jengar back. The light from the Pokéball and Mismagius' black eyes shot towards Jengar respectively, and the audience was very nervous. But Jengar is not a dead thing, it floated directly towards the direction of the spirit, and before being hit, it went straight back to the spirit ball. Facing Mismagius of the ghost type, the second Pokémon released by Oak is Gardevoir. It has to be said that after more than 2 months of training, Gardevoir's strength has risen at an astonishing rate, especially in terms of Psychic, whose power can already pose a great threat to Oki's Jengar. Because Mismagius has just been released, Rival cannot replace Pokémon for the time being. Even in the face of Gardevoir, who is restrained by Attribute, he can only bite the bullet. For a while, Ghost-type and Super-type tricks were flying around on the field, Attribute was restrained, and his strength was not as good as Gardevoir. Mismagius was quickly defeated by Gardevoir Sishak. After Mismagius was disabled, Rival had lost 3 Pokémon and required a 5-minute intermission. 5 minutes passed quickly, and the two trainers set foot on the battlefield again. Oki's rival after the 5-minute break, I don't know if he thought of a solution. Oki felt that he was calmer than in the first half. In the first game of the second half, Rival seemed to release its Earl Dervish Pokémon directly, and a strong Feraligatr appeared on the field. Oki also jumped to a Feraligatr in the previous game, but Oki can quickly feel that the Feraligatr he is facing now is not at the same level as the previous one. The ensuing battle also confirmed Oak's idea. Oak's first Pokémon in the second half was Machamp. At the beginning of the battle, Rival directly resorted to the Crunch trick. The bite force of crocodile Pokémon like Feraligatr is absolutely impressive, and the speed of this Feraligatr is also quite fast. Before Machamp could react, he directly bit at arm. Feraligatr's bite force was manifested at this moment. Machamp's bitten arm hung down powerlessly, and the pain was unbearable even if he moved it. But Machamp has 4 hands, so he doesn't have to endure the pain to continue using that hand. After a fierce confrontation, Machamp defeated the Feraligatr head-on by relying on his many arms and the strength advantage of being a fighting Pokémon. In a later attack, use the Crunch attack to cripple one of its arms. The next 2 Pokémon in Rival are Gyarados and Ursaring, both of which are very powerful Pokémon, but in the case of Bisharp and Electivire sent by Okiat, they were still defeated by Day. But Bisharp, who could not release his tricks, and could only fight with his spiritual power and his own physical fitness, left a deep impression on the hearts of the audience. Oak also believed that once Bisharp let go of his murderous aura, those impressions would definitely become indelible. The 8-4 final tournament is over. After Oki advances, he and Sir Lena are here to watch the next game. The next 2 finalists left a deep impression on Oki. One is a civilian trainer named John. His Rapidash is extremely fast, and his Fire-type special attack is also quite powerful. A Donphan of Rival even lost his combat ability when it collided with it. The other one is more mysterious. Judging from the fighting style of Pokémon, it should be a member of the fighting family, but it's not Yumezaki's surname. It stands to reason that such a thing that can bring glory to the family. The big family will not agree to the family's children concealing their names in order to pretend to be bullying. It even means that you can hide your name, but you must not hide your surname. This group of people who were hot-headed due to fierce disputes realized what they had done at this time, so they all retreated after a haha. Only Ash, who has been insisting on saying that he must only lose 3 Pokémon, let him win Gary again. After 2 days, the Silver Conference Final Tournament is over with 8 entries and 4 entries. The semifinals are next because the semifinal rival is decided by lottery, so Oki doesn't know who his rival will be. To be on the safe side, I checked their Pokémon with a computer. Then what? Brother Yi, I was joking just now, right, Pikachu? Pikachu, what are you doing there? Pikachu, Ash's ally, instinctively judged the danger behind Oki's smile, so he hit aside. No matter how Ash called, he pretended not to hear him. Oh, Ash sighed, looking at Pikachu's current actions. He always felt that he was back when he just met, and he was also disobedient. The only thing that made Oki gratified was that this group of people had great confidence in themselves and thought they could win the championship, so they bet that they would lose a few Pokémon in the final. During a heated discussion, I didn't know it was proposed to ask myself, so a group of people came to their room together to ask their views on the game. Because there were so many people talking at the same time, Oki couldn't hear a word, but Oki didn't intend to stop them, and they would stop naturally when they were tired. After a while, these people also found that it was completely useless to wait for others, and finally said what they wanted to say one by one. After Oki listened to it, he just felt that this group of people was idle, because they were so eager to find themselves, and there was another burst of excited talk. The reason was that the semifinals were approaching. Own performance in the next game, this guy who seems to be called Erlang uses all fighting-type Pokémon. I don't know if he has a collection habit. This guy has collected all 3 evolution types of Balang. Under his command, the 3 Pokémon, Hitmonchan, Kebalang, and Savaring, also gave full play to the characteristics of their fighting-type Pokémon, and their combat effectiveness was quite impressive from the past few battles. Oki looked at so many people in the room and was a little stunned for a moment. Did anything happen while he was checking the information? You guys are really idle. Oki couldn't help sighing after understanding the cause and effect. Brother, yes, yes. After Sir Lena opened the door, a lot of people came in. Ash, Misty, Zio Gang, Gary and his girlfriends. Ask for flowers. The last is the one named Erlang. Counting the Pokémon used in the previous competition, the number of his Pokémon is not very large, and they are all fighting. This made Oki have to wonder if this guy is the illegitimate son of a big brother in the Yamazaki family, right? Yue's Pokémon is clear at a glance. I don't know if he is deliberately hiding his strength. Judging from the short-term game, this guy has already taken New Law, who has just been conquered as the main Pokémon. In John's Pokémon, there are quite a few Pokémon that need attention. The ones that need special attention are his Rapidash and an Ampharos. According to the data in the Silver Conference, they are very powerful, and there is reason to believe that they must be there are hidden Pokémon. Ash, let's have a good talk. Oki's smile made Misty and Zyoging, who were about to pull Ash away, feel like they were in the spring breeze, but Ash, who was still messed up just now, suddenly smelling salts, came over and hid Gary, who was about to watch a good show at the door, also slipped away with his girlfriend. Tuck, tuck, tuck. When Oki had just finished reading Rival's information, there was a knock on the door of the room. Ash thought about it and unconsciously said it and looked at Pikachu with affectionate eyes and walked towards it step by step, as if he wanted to move it with his affectionate call normal. It's a pity that Oki's hand was placed on his shoulder at some point, and the slightly cold eyes directly brought him back to reality. There is still one troublesome thing that has not been resolved. However, in Oki's view, all of these are just the disguise of Ash. Although Ash often lacks roots, but after being under the clutches of Oki for so long when he was a child, some instincts can still be cultivated. Just as Oki was about to impose the capital punishment on Ash, while Misty, Zyoging, and Sir Lena were sympathetic and slightly excited to watch, the door was opened, and Professor Oak and Delia walked in. Are you all here? Let's go have dinner together. The moment Oki saw Delia, he put the hand he was about to put down on Ash's shoulder, showing Delia and the others their brotherhood. Okay, let's go now. Ash, who managed to escape, agreed slightly excitedly. Is it necessary to be in such a hurry? Hey, little 277, you child, really? Delia was pushed out by the excited Ash, and this guy returned to Fang Yi soon. Brother Yi and everyone, let's go. Ash returned to the room with a dog-legged look, completely unrecognizable of his usual appearance. Pikachu, seeing this scene, Pikachu couldn't believe his eyes and rubbed his eyes cutely. After confirming that he was not mistaken, Pikachu's nimble little eyes stared straight at Ash. And Oki also read the meaning of Urguzi, you have changed from its eyes, and I don't know if it was an illusion. When the lottery was drawn the next day, Oki drew Yue. To be honest, he felt that he seemed to have drawn the weakest of the top four. After Rival draws a lottery, it's time to draw the game order and the venue. Maybe it's really lucky. The match between Oki and Yue is today and the venue is Rock. This gives Oki the illusion that he can avoid long nights and dreams. It's up to you, Kecleon. After the battle started, the Pokémon released by Yue was the same as the previous battles, as if he wanted to test Da Yi with assist Kecleon's special style of play. That's it, this is my Pokémon. Come out by Dio. Oki chose by Dio. With its sharp eyes, it can spot the traces of Kecleon in the air. Even by Dio can't find my Kecleon. Move Kecleon, look for an opportunity to use tongue-licking attack. Kecleon became invisible for a moment, and then began to move continuously. And judging from the speed shown by Kecleon, it seems to have hidden strength in the previous few games, and the speed is too fast. And it was very sharp when attacking. Its long Lickitung quickly hit by Dio at the moment it stopped. By Dio, grab it. Oki directly ordered at the moment Kecleon's tongue stuck out. During the past 2 months, when Oki was training Bidio, he trained its claws on purpose. Whether it's flying while holding a heavy object or grabbing Pokémon in the sea while flying on the sea, Bidio's claws become fast, accurate, and ruthless. So when Kecleon's tongue attacked, Bidio grabbed it directly. Kecleon, since that's the case, shake it up. Seeing Kecleon's tongue being grabbed, the scene of fighting Ash came to mind instantly. Yue didn't dare to let Kecleon be caught without a fight. Try to attack first. Fly up, Oki said with a curled-up corner of his mouth. After Bidio heard the order, he flapped his wings hard to fly upwards and took Kecleon away from the ground directly, making Kecleon's tongue flick stop. Kecleon, who left the ground, began to feel a little uneasy. His hands and feet kept moving, but Bidio, who didn't have Oki's order, was still rising continuously. Kecleon, wrap your tongue around it. Faced with this situation, Yue could only let Kecleon wrap around Bidio, at least not let Kecleon be thrown off. Bidio, it's okay, agility throws it off and then destroys the deathlight. After Bidio used agility, the speed became faster, and it kept changing directions in the air while it was flying, which made Kecleon a little unbearable. The tongue was opened, and the last destructive deathlight directly lost its fighting ability. Next is you, come on, Nira. Seeing that Kecleon lost his fighting ability, Yue didn't talk nonsense and directly released the second Pokémon. Nula Bidio, come back, come on, Bisharp. Facing Neela with sharp claws, Oki chose Bisharp to deal with it. Nula tell Move to rush over and use the alloy claws. Yue seemed to want to fight quickly, but Bisharp's speed was not slow. Bisharp next call back. Because Bisharp can't use the ultimate move, Oki's orders to normal are so simple and clear and only give reminders or specific instructions when necessary. Bisharp directly raised his hand to block Neera, who was rushing towards him. Although he took a few steps back after being impacted by that force, in terms of deterrence, it was really impressive. After blocking the alloy claws, Bisharp used his other hand to strike towards New Law, who hadn't reacted yet, and directly knocked New Law into the air. Catch up and chop it. Before Neela landed, Bisharp chased it directly and hit Neela directly with the part of his hand that looked like a sharp blade. Yue tamed this Neela at the Holy Fire Ancestral Hall. Although Yue didn't know why Yue sent it out, Oki still accepted Shingli directly without hesitation. Agron, get out of the way and destroy the Death Ray. Su Libo Hypnosis. The watch in Su Libai's hand began to swing, but it was very difficult to use hypnosis and the speed was really too slow. The battle ended like this, and I don't know if Jenger's attack was too strong or what. Su Libo just fell down with a strange smile. Because Yue's 3 Pokémon lost their ability to fight, it's time for an intermission. Steelix come out Agron. However, because the training time is not too long, and this matter is really not difficult, so Agron at the current stage uses defensive tricks such as Iron Defense at most, and it is impossible to take action to avoid it. The destructive Death Ray hit directly, but with the protection of Iron Defense and his own hard armor, Agron's injury was not very serious. At the end of the 5-minute break, Yue and Oki released Pokémon at the same time, although Oki already roughly knew the order of appearance of Yue's Pokémon. The power of Steelix is not covered, Orberg's tail is swung with great force. Oki doesn't want Agron to be tough, try its power. Violent fighting methods do not mean brainless output. The unique skill of destroying Deathlight has always been a representative of violence. It is so powerful that it can directly kill rival in seconds. Facing the wind and sand produced by Steelix, Agron rushed over with a roar, and then hit a powerful alloy claw directly on the non-rotating part of Steelix's body. Agron Alloy Claws. Facing Steelix, who was already unable to move, alloy claws were the most suitable trick. After several consecutive attacks, Steelix couldn't resist and fell down. Next is Su Libo. Yue's 3rd Pokémon is Su Libo, with a strange smile on his face as soon as he appeared. Steelix Hurricane Sand. Steelix stood upright, and then part of his body began to spin, creating a powerful storm. Jenger Shadow Ball. Jenger habitually released several shadow balls, and the first one exploded directly, causing a gust of black wind, which forced Suliber's hypnosis to stop. And the remaining few shadow balls hit Su Libai one by one. Agron Rush In Alloy Claws. From the moment Agron evolved, Oki thought about how to fight violently. This time rival is Steelix, so he can try it. Facing the destructive Death Ray 4.8, Steelix instinctively blocked it with the Orberg tail, but it turned out that this move was correct. Hit head-on by the destructive Deathlight, Steelix was beaten back endlessly, but because of the blocking of Orberg's tail, the injury was not serious. Steelix Orberg Tail. When Steelix fell down, part of his body was still spinning, and Yue took advantage of the situation to make Steelix use the Orberg tail. Come back, Bisharp. Come out, Jenger. Oki's Pokémon team was arranged according to the Pokémon when Yue and Ash fought. The restrained Pokémon was directly used. Agron use Iron Defense. From the very beginning, Oak's positioning against Agron and even his own Steelix was as a cannon. So when training, train them intentionally to reduce their freezing time. Steelix, destroy the Deathlight. Taking advantage of the frozen time after Agron launched the Destruction Deathlight, Yue tried to counterattack with the Destruction Deathlight and defeated Agron. Steelix, you have done a good job. Next is you, Houndoom. Yue retracted Steelix very quickly, and at the same time retracted Steelix, he released Houndoom with the other hand. Houndoom used Flamethrower. Houndoom used Flamethrower as soon as he came out, and Yue seemed to have made up his mind to use Fast Break. Rock is closed, then come back. Because of the arrangement of the Pokémon team, Oak's other 2 Pokémon are obviously more suitable for this battle. So Oki took it back directly. Seeing that Agron was taken back by Oki, Yue seemed very unwilling because it might mean that his head would be shaved. Next is you, Gyarados. The moment the red Gyarados appeared, the entire audience was excited. It seemed that this was the first Flash Pokémon one that appeared at the Silver Conference anyway, they thought so. I seem to have heard of your red Gyarados, isn't it a Flash Pokémon? Although ordinary trainers don't have as many resources as family children, they also have their own channels, and they can learn about various news in a timely manner. Although it's not a Flash Pokémon, my Gyarados are very powerful. Oki was not surprised at what Yue said, because there must be a wide range of channels for ordinary trainers who can mix to this level. Not his original continent. You will know if you are strong or not. Houndoom agility use crunch. Houndoom bared his fangs and rushed towards Gyarados at an extremely fast speed. Gyarados water sport. The little trick is used well, but the effect is actually great. Gyarados water sport blocked Houndoom in front of him in time. Even though Houndoom changed the attack direction several times, Gyarados used water sport to block him and he couldn't make any progress. Houndoom double team and then lightning teeth. Seeing that such an attack would not work, Yue tried to use double team to cause interference to Gyarados, waiting for an opportunity to launch an attack. Do you want to bite? Then let you bite Gyarados, give up water sport, and use destructive death light in the direction of 4 o'clock. With enough initiative, Oki began to try many of his usual battles' totally unthinkable fighting style. Seeing that the water blocking his way had disappeared, Houndoom bared his fangs and rushed towards Gyarados with a spark. Under the command of Oki, Gyarados directly ignored the other clones and faced Houndoom's real body directly, preparing to destroy the Deathlight. Houndoom give up the lightning teeth and leave agility. Seeing Gyarados' destructive Deathlight gradually condense, Yue resolutely gave up the attack and then asked Houndoom to use agility, trying to avoid the destructive Deathlight. It's a pity that Oki obviously won't let Yue succeed. And from the beginning of the training, Oki warned Gyarados that when he didn't order to use all the destructive Deathlight, the destructive Deathlight released must be at that cohesive speed fast, the kind that can burst. And Gyarados obviously kept Oki's words in his heart. So when Houndoom gave up the lightning teeth and was about to retreat, he sent out the destructive death light directly. Although the destructive death ray was not at its full strength this time, it was still powerful. Even though Houndoom withstood the destructive death ray, he suffered a lot of injuries. That's right, that's it, continue to shoot. Seeing the destructive death light condensed around Gyarados' mouth continuously hitting towards Houndoom, although it didn't hit much, the aftermath has already done good damage to Houndoom. Damn it, Houndoom, use the flame car and rush to Gyarados. Seeing that hiding like this is not an option, Yue directly asked Houndoom to attack, and the power of the flame car at this distance can definitely cause a lot of damage to Gyarados. It's useless, Gyarados' Orberg tail, because the continuous destruction of the Deathlight has a disadvantage, that is, once it stops it will freeze. Contest condition, the time is even longer than the full destruction of the Deathlight. So Gyarados would rather destroy and die with his mouth, and use Orberg tail in addition. Wrapped in flames, Houndoom rushed towards Gyarados, colliding directly with Gyarados' Orberg's tail. Although Gyarados was pushed back by the flame roof, it was not weak in itself and it stopped quickly, and at the same time destroyed the Deathlight and hit the Houndoom who was in a stalemate with him. Houndoom, who was already injured, immediately lost his fighting ability because he was seized the opportunity to destroy the Deathlight several times. But at the same time, there is also a bad thing. Gyarados, who stopped destroying the Deadlight, has fallen into a long-term stiff contest condition, and Yue obviously will not let go of this good opportunity. Come back, Houndoom. Come on, Blaziken, use the explosive kick. Yue also seized the opportunity and quickly released his veteran Blaziken. As Yue's Earl Dervish Pokémon, and also a veteran who has traveled in 2 places in the Hon-Johto region, Blaziken's strength is beyond doubt. Blaziken, who had just appeared on the stage, heard the order, kicked with his powerful legs and came to Gyarados' side directly. After turning around, the explosive kick directly hit Gyarados. Even with the tonnage of Gyarados, he was kicked out by Blaziken, which is enough to show that the explosive kick is full of power. However, in the past 2 months, he has been diving into deep water, assisting the water pressure and exercising his body scales. The defensive power has been greatly improved and the blood red scales have begun to become darker. Gyarados, come back, your fighting is enough. Although Gyarados is protected by thick scales, but Gyarados is not lightly injured, and there is still a period of time before the stiff contest condition disappears, Oki can only accept it return. You're next, come on, Blastoise. Kami, as a veteran of the Kanto region, Blastoise, who has not played in an official game for a long time, let out an excited growl as soon as he appeared on the field. Blaziken kicked down. Blaziken, who is a combination of fire and fighting, obviously can only use fighting skills when facing Blastoise. Hydro Pump. Facing Blaziken rushing towards him, Blastoise adjusted his direction and 2 jets of water hit Blaziken. Blaziken was very fast and directly dodged the Hydro Pump, while the Hydro Pump hit in that direction without slowing down, and Block's rock was constantly shattered by the impact. And Yue, who saw the power of the Hydro Pump, obviously noticed that although Blaziken's speed is enough, but being hit by such a hydro pump, the injury must be serious. so he can only silently remind himself to pay attention. Rapid spin. Blaziken hit the kick directly. Blastoise was also kicked and felt like he was about to fall. So Okia ordered it to use a high-speed spin. The spinning Blastoise directly hit the Blaziken next to him, but was quickly dodged by the experienced Blaziken. And facing the rapid spin that hit the past again, Blaziken jumped up directly, as if he was going to step on its turtle shell, directly preventing it from continuing to spin. Blastoise stop frozen fist. Hearing the order, Blastoise stopped directly from the rapid spin movement, and the whole process from moving to stopping was very natural, which made Yue more vigilant. Billions of tons of impact. Facing Blaziken, who fell from the sky and used his feet to punch out billions of tons of impact, Blastoise was also constantly fine-tuning his position so that the frozen fist could be swung with maximum power. Blaziken's billion-ton punch smackdown was empty, but because the force was strong enough, the area around the foothold collapsed, and Blastoise also failed to hit Blaziken because of his unstable stand. The attacks of both sides were in vain, and at the same time, they also dodged to leave the place to prevent the opponent's sneak attack. Blaziken, a series of explosive kicks. The best move to bring out Blaziken's strength is naturally the kicking move with its long legs. Blastoise Megaton Punch. Facing Blaziken's kick, Oki was not afraid at all and directly asked Blastoise to deal with it with a Megaton Punch. Although being a turtle Pokémon, the fighting skill is not that powerful, but with the hard turtle shell, Blastoise still, Zhao's blocked Blaziken's attack, and the two sides continue to make progress. Looks like he's retreating. Blastoise avoid using water waves. Although I am very happy to be able to use fighting skills and Blaziken to achieve this, but Blastoise, who has the advantage of attributes, can't keep abandoning the unique moves of the water system like this. So Oki sees one who can escape taking the opportunity. Blastoise simply ducked. Agility dodge, then Thunder Punch. Blaziken's speed is very fast. Even after losing a lot of physical strength in a confrontation, he still easily dodged the water wave trick. Use Surf. Facing the Thunder Punch that did a lot of damage, Yinny directly ordered Blastoise to use Surf. Surf successfully blocked Blaziken in front of him, and Thunder Punch unfortunately went bankrupt. Hydro Pump. In a twist, Oak let Blastoise do his basic trick. Blaziken, dodge and rush over, use the Fire Spin. Although the water element restrains the fire element, it doesn't mean that the fire element can't hurt the water element Pokémon. Blaziken quickly rushed to Blastoise's side, stretched out his hands against Blastoise's body, so that its Hydro Pump could not attack him, and at the same time used Fire Spin to surround himself and Blastoise. Because Blaziken is a Fire-type Pokémon, the resistance to Fire-type tricks is not comparable to that of Blastoise, so Blaziken is now unscrupulously letting Fire Spin surround them together. Kami Blastoise, who was surrounded by flames, screamed unconsciously. While the Hydro Pump has to be spit up from the barrel on the Blastoise's shell, there is no such restriction as other moves. Blastoise the Water Wave hit the ground, and then a million tons of punches. Because Blastoise was uncomfortable being surrounded by flames, Oki first ordered to use water waves to cool down the surrounding area, and at the same time extinguish the Fire Spin directly, and more or less can cause some damage to Blaziken. Blaziken Seismic Toss. Hearing Oki's order, Yue directly asked Blaziken to use the Seismic Toss, defeating the Megaton Punch that Blastoise was about to swing. Blaziken's strength is really not small. Facing the large tonnage Blastoise, he was able to pick it up, and then jumped up with his strong legs. After turning around in the air for a few times, he hugged Blastoise and fell towards the ground. Blastoise used the Hydro Pump to shrink the shell. Because the head is facing down, Oki directly ordered it to use the Hydro Pump at the right time to reduce the impact of falling from a high altitude, and then use the shrink shell to reduce the damage. Although the Hydro Pump is used to reduce the damage of falling from high altitudes, it can only reduce the damage, and cannot directly crack the Seismic Toss. Because if the Hydro Pump is used all the time, the gravity falling from a high altitude and the reaction force after using the Hydro Pump will directly cause Blastoise to suffer more damage. Because at the right time, Hydro Pump was used to reduce the damage of Seismic Toss, and the shell was shrunk to minimize the damage. So after the smoke and dust they fell dissipated, although Water Arrow 920 Turtle was seriously injured, he was able to stand up and continue fighting. Very good Hydro Pump. Hydro Pump kept hitting Blaziken, and because Blastoise was really heavy, Blaziken, whose arms had just exhausted his strength, seemed to be a little bit useless with his hands at the moment. Blaziken Chain Kick. Although his hands are temporarily unable to use force, but Blaziken, who relies on his legs for many tricks, is not a problem to launch an attack. After dodging the Hydro Pump a few times, Blaziken quickly approached Blastoise, kicking towards Blastoise with both legs. But Blastoise did not resist, but silently endured a series of kicks and directly grabbed one of Blaziken's legs. Very good, freezing light. Seeing Blaziken froze for a moment when his leg was caught, he probably didn't expect that he could be caught so fast. But Oki took the opportunity to let Blastoise attack, and that was enough time for Blastoise's freezing beam to hit Blaziken. And the place where the freezing light hit was none other than Blaziken's grabbed leg. Blaziken, break free and break the ice. After Blaziken reacted, he directly kicked Blastoise with his other leg and took back his caught leg. Blastoise, don't give it a chance, Hydro Pump attacked continuously. After finally seizing the opportunity to hit Blaziken, Yushui naturally wouldn't let it escape just like that. Being constantly attacked by the Hydro Pump, Blaziken, who could only dodge, had no time to free his frozen leg. BBCF can't help it. Blaziken use explosive kick. Because the leg has been frozen, if it is not thawed, it is likely to paralyze that leg. Yue can only use what he doesn't want to use method. Waiting for this, the water wave. Oki saw.
Hello, everyone. As we wrap up this video, I want to share a quick note. I have a Patreon account. If you'd like to support me and enjoy on-demand audiobooks, you can become a Patreon member. Alternatively, you can check out my Google Drive link, which has 500+ novel audiobooks available through my Ko-fi or Patreon shop. I appreciate your support.